Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's SMZ3 tournament match. We've got a really hype match today. It's the semifinals round with Solski versus Osse101. I am joined today by Ricky Kokiri helping us out tracking, and Apathy Duck in the booth here. How's it going, Duck?
Oh, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just really excited for an awesome matchup. Should be a really good competitive race here, which is exactly what you want to see for a semifinal round.
Should be a good one. Both of these guys are just really good at the randomizer. I think if anything, probably the favorite in this race, if not the tournament overall. The winner of this will face Azure, another really strong player. But Solski definitely not. I don't think Aussie will be overlooking him or anything. But Solski, a really strong player, really just needs to make one or two right decisions here. I know Aussie's a fan of things like a top of wreck ship skip, something like that. So if just like one or two things like that break Solski's way, he could easily walk away with this thing. So it's going to come down to basically where the items are, just just like normal. But I expect a really good match between these two. Aussie really good at both of these games, both in the vanilla versions and the randomizer. I know he's both in the Link to the Past and the SM tournaments we had here recently, and doing pretty well in both of them. Getting second in RBO recently too, which is just ridiculous. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely expecting to see a little bit of route divergence. Like you mentioned, Aussie is a slight favorite there. He's the 1 seed. Solski's the number 5 seed overall coming into this match. But one of Solski's strengths, I think, is his just unique perspective towards the routing and his ability to adapt based on what he finds. I think he does a fantastic job of that, and I think that might lead to a little bit of variation, where Aussie might lean into his strengths execution wise, and Solski might. Some might call it gambling, but I would say that's a bit of a stretch. Just making good decisions with the information he has, and hopefully we get some divergence and end up having a close race.
I'm Solski's been in my stream watching me and telling me where my next items is going to be is a little bit infuriating. I do not know how he manages to do it. Whatever powers he has, I seem to have the exact opposite power.
Yeah, of course, with it being randomized, it doesn't always work out, and like you mentioned, it could come down to just a little bit of luck to whoever pulls out ahead.
Oh, 8 bomb drop from Aussie there. I haven't seen that that sign throw strat right there. That's actually pretty heads up, and not even saving quitting. Just gonna be heading. I don't know if he's trying straight to Uncle or what his plan here is. Looks like he's gonna go straight to South Shore with that fat bomb drop.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. 8 is enough to get through the dam and mini Moldorm Cave. It's a very unorthodox strat, but there we go, seeing Aussie doing exactly what I said of varying his routing based on what he finds already immediately.
He'll definitely change his route if he does get something pretty big to start off with. The 8 bombs there. He could have also taken that straight into an escape. Actually, Solski getting a 4 bombs from that tier. Probably, I think the tier 3. Didn't see him get hit at all. I think that was the tier 3. And we're getting a full magic from the crabs too, which is actually pretty useful early on. He didn't pick it up.
Got stuck behind the lumberjack.
And then 4 bombs for tier 1. Good lord. Yeah, so bombs not going to be a problem with this seed. I definitely want. All right, we do have Desert was a pendant, and it looked like Tower of Hera was red crystal. Eastern just a regular crystal.
Okay, well, yeah, this is a little more divergence than I expected right away, but we'll see if the big advantage here with Aussie checking these South Shore checks is if he's able to get anything that can help him out in Kakariko, like say a bottle that Solski may not have, or an easier time getting rupees, or I don't know. That's about it he's going to find here. But either of those things would be really nice just to make that Kakariko clear a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I could cut the other way though. Coming right here, he may find like Moon Pearl or Flippers and a bunch of money. Solski may be able to do the Zora checks when he gets down here. So You know, it's always the thing of random. Sometimes you feel like you're making a really good play, and then just so happened it works out better for your opponent. So, but we won't know that for quite some time here.
Yeah, it's a good point. Honestly, does have to be a little bit careful. Got hit by a crab, and they do 2 hearts of damage. And even the Octoroks do a full heart, so...
Well, I think you got
cautious.
It's 1 now, but that's still going to be death, so...
Yeah. Meanwhile, nothing really important yet here at Blind Side. The first few Kakariko checks. The cape is interesting. That might be required. Same with the screw attack. Okay, that's...
Yeah, do you want to explain why screw attack is terrible to find first?
It's terrible because it lets you get to a handful of checks in Brinstar, but they're separated. There's a couple in the Retro Brin area and a couple around like green and pink Brinstar, but you're leaving behind so many things, and both those are dead ends where if you find something good, you have to backtrack anyway. So you really don't want to follow that without Morph Ball.
Yeah, you definitely don't chase it. You wouldn't chase it this early. Solski probably going to do a little bit more of the light roll checks. The amount of times I've found speed. Yep, about to say. The amount of times I found speed or screw and then Morph Ball also being on light world. You learn not to chase it hard. Once you start getting down on checks, though, you can maybe pull out of light world a little bit early. But it's annoying thing to see. But now they have Morph Ball. It's a great thing to see. Your opinion of it changes.
Yeah, now they have Morph Ball. They have Morph Ball and bombs, which means I think I've only seen 1 Power Bomb pack, if that's correct. We might have seen 2 and I missed it, but with Morph Ball bombs, that's not nearly as much of a concern. And Screw Attack helping out a little bit too, of course, alleviating the need for Power Bombs.
Yeah,
so
once
you might see really early FM.
Yeah, once you see, once you have Morph Ball bombs, really all you need is the 5 Power Bombs. There's only a handful of things that really actually hard need the Power Bombs. So the rest of it you can just get through with Morph Ball bombs just fine. And Screw Attack will let you do Billy Mays really easily. That's not really much of an issue. Oh, you do need the 1 to get up there, but they should have enough of that.
Is that a Moon Pearl? Did I see that right?
I wasn't looking exactly when he went in, and I completely missed it.
I saw on the restream a few seconds behind. That was the Moon Pearl on the library. So that's actually really good for the runners, interestingly enough, because that means boots are going to be before anything in the Dark World. So they're going to get to move quickly. Always makes the game more fun, and just makes you feel good having the boots early.
Yeah, even if it is like a really late Moon Pearl, like with boots being buried in like Meridia or something wild like that, you're just gonna. What it means is just you're gonna be doing mostly SM, so you're not actually gonna be moving slow in A Link to the Past at all. So yeah, that's a pretty nice place for those to be.
All right, I guess that is does look like it's 10 Power Bombs as well, since Osse and Solski each pick up the Power Bomb pack the other has already gotten. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely gonna be in the case where you still want even Power Bombs pretty much until you find that Varia, in case it is going to be a Varia-less seed. Oof, that's a mouthful. A seed without Varia, we'll say that.
Yeah, that of course won't be required logically, but if it's convenient, we might see the runners opt to do some hell runs. In particular, like the really quick early Ice Beam hell run is an easy one to just kind of knock out when you're in the area if you have the ability to. Either that, or if it comes down to it and they're in go mode, minus the Varia suit, both these runners are more than capable of just not bothering with it, as long as they have enough ammo.
Yeah, I know Solski is a big proponent of at least doing the Ice Beam Crumble Tower hell run. It's right there. It's pretty easy to break. You don't want that. It could be something pretty big that could lead you to something. It could be the only thing that Varia even unlocks, too. So you could just end up skipping Varia that way. Osse will commit more to a full upper Norfair / Crocomire hell run. I know he's a fan of that. But yeah, both these guys are capable of doing lower Norfair without the Varia suit. As I mentioned before, Osse number 2 in RBO right now, so certainly no issues on his side, and Solski can definitely pull it off too, especially with that screw attack. With screw attack, I would definitely be thinking, being pretty happy if Varia is late in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to point out I saw a really nice heads-up play there by Solski. He was getting blocked by the crab, and he took damage off of the pickle, whatever those guys are actually called, to avoid the extra damage from the crab, just to make sure he doesn't have any worries dying on the way to Ice Rod Cave.
So with that morph ball, screw attack, morph ball bombs, we'll see if they decide to do some of these other. It looks like Solski is going to be doing Sasha. He's doing it a little bit later than he normally does. I know he mentioned he's kind of changed up his light roll routing a little bit recently. I think maybe putting this off a little bit more to avoid the double dip over here into the eastern area. But I don't think we'll see an eastern dip right now with what we have. There's so much in SM available to us right now. Probably be heading over there sooner than later.
Yeah, that would surprise me as well. With the 3 map checks that Solski did, making sure that it's a crystal, probably enforcing that decision to not go in to Eastern early. It looks like Swamp is our green pendant as well. So we might be able to skip those flippers as a hard requirement as well, since both these runners are more than capable of fake flippering into Ice Palace if that's a crystal.
And skip the hookshot too. It's actually why Solski is here. The hookshot was in his pendant Swamp Palace last seed. He was able to avoid it. His opponent Maniacal ended up going in there basically from some early divergence. He was looking for something that Solski already had. And the hookshot was in pendant Swamp and led to absolutely nothing else. So Solski was basically able to win pretty much by that gap of Maniacal making that dip. And it looks like both of them are starting with this criteria powerbomb spot. It's fine to start with this, but basically, unless it's specifically speed up here that you can just single loop Brinstar, it's a little bit of a slow of a check. I don't look to do this too much, but both these guys are better than me, so I'll defer to their wisdom here.
Yeah, I want to point out too that grapple beam Solski picked up is going to be potentially interesting. That does unlock logical access to wreck ship for him, which Osse does not have. We'll see if Solski opts to do that early. It's pretty dangerous with just one E-tank. Not an easy fight, and some of the other rooms like Spike Room of Death definitely live up to their name.
Yeah, Solski hasn't really done too much of the new route Fantoon fight yet, so this is the amount of health you would have in that route. It's a really tricky fight unless you specifically practice it a bunch on this amount of health. And yeah, he's just gonna come in and leave. I mean, players don't particularly like wreck ship to begin with, so I really wouldn't expect Solski to go over there. Osse, I have definitely seen CWJ in normal mode over to wreck ship, and maybe Osse might be identifying this as a situation where maybe he can snag something in wreck ship and get a little bit of a leg up on Solski here. But there is that speed. Yeah, so yeah, at this point, I don't think there's any reason not to do this Brinstar loop. You just be able to full clear it doing one trip. Usually the reason you put it off is you don't have speed and you don't want a hard abandoned waterway. With his power bombs, morphle bombs, speed, he's gonna have no problem here. He's gonna blaze through it real quick. Meanwhile, Solski's route also makes a lot of sense with that grapple. I do like opening up to Kraid. You're gonna get a boss kill. You need to do this, so might as well do it first. And the main downside to this route is you can generally hard abandon or hard orphan X-ray. We have grapple, so you can check it right now. Although, even with grapple, that X-ray room is can be a little scary. That one of those yapping maws grab you, you will die with this amount of health. Also, missing the moonfall there, unfortunately. Able to just is going to check this X-ray out, so we got to be a little careful here. Like I said, this is a little bit of a tricky room. so I can get hit by these waivers down into the spikes.
Yeah, and we saw Osse picked up a bottle as well, so that's our first bottle. The only thing thus far after that speed booster he's got this progression, but there's bound to be not necessarily something. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's real big. So yeah, that's what that grapple at least was pointing us to, if not all of Rex ship. So Osse missed the grapple then. Where was that?
Yeah, that was
exactly?
Utsahastrala.
Oh, yeah.
That
Okay.
we went to before the end. Ooh, and he does need to be careful. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
spike hit, and Solski's gonna die here, and that's not what he wants. Now that he's found some very important item.
Yeah, the other. I know Osse 100% will do the damage boost over there. Generally, he looks to have a little bit of health to do it. Not only because it's safer, but it's pretty slow, especially coming back if you don't have enough health. So if he doesn't find a couple E-tanks here, and he doesn't manage to go back to Sasha before doing that X-ray side, that could be a pretty big swing point for Solski.
Yeah, absolutely. The hammer doesn't unlock anything yet, though. So if we see the runners get pretty bottlenecked before that comes into play, it might end up not making a difference one way or the other. There's still quite a few checks here in Super Metroid, and with what we've found so far, it looks like that's going to be the case for a while. We're going to see a lot of Super Metroid, then a lot of Link to the Past.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about finding an item cross-game is it doesn't matter when you get it until the next time you go back is when it starts having effects. So if Osse just decides to kind of make more of a full clear SM here and maybe do those damage boosts, or maybe even stumble into speed or space or something like that, it doesn't matter that Solski grabbed that first, because both of them are just going to be doing a lot of these SM checks. Although I don't think Osse has found anything required over here, so if Solski was thinking about maybe delaying or putting on... We did find the speed, so that is important.
Yeah, and potentially the bottle that he got, that's the first one we've seen there, but that's just a fetch quest that is not a high priority, and most likely will end up leading to nothing anyway.
Yeah, very nice job by Osse coming out of the Spore Spawn missiles there with that little speedball. It's surprisingly really tricky to get that one off. Solski having a little trouble with this quick kill. Does manage to save it, though. It was actually well done, kind of Kraid being off cycle there. And still being able to, not the quickest kill, at least he didn't stand up.
Yeah, so no other items here in Kraid's warehouse so far, but Solski does get the boss kill, is the important thing. And just the red boomerang at Waterway, so if for any reason Solski does come down here without grabbing the speed booster first, which is pretty unlikely, but if that does end up happening, he won't be missing anything at Waterway.
Yeah, I mean, I can see him doing a reverse. Red boomerang actually can make a difference now with some of the Intel glitches. But that's really unlikely to be a thing at this point.
Yeah, that's true, and those Insul glitches do have other ways to set them up without the red boomerang too, so I imagine if the runners know those particular setups, they know one or two other ones as well, maybe using the bow and bombs. So, unlikely we'll see that happen, but you never know.
Yeah, the boomerang is only going to matter if we get Red King. Solski does get Varia right here in the high jump E-tank. So he doesn't have any way to get into Norfair. He can do Croc. Or no, he can't. Never mind. He can't do Croc. He doesn't have speed.
He's got the bombs. He can do IBJ.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see if he decides to make this dip into Norfair. If not, I definitely expect these. Excuse me. The ice beam and crumble tower. It takes all my effort not to mess up ice beam and ice rod. The SMZ3.
He is taking the time to grab that Spazer beam. It's a significant damage increase and also increases the width of your shots. So you don't have any other beams. It can be kind of helpful. Only takes a second to pick up. But not surprised we see Solski before potentially doing those upper Norfair plays like you were mentioning, Duck. He is going to do the Spectral Rock Scout and probably rescue the old man in the dark to get that save and quit spot here on the mountain.
Yeah, first time you come up here, you 100% want to save this old man. The logic can make you come up here as many times as it feels like, and you don't want to have to go through a Link to the or SM every single time. So just really important. This is even more important, honestly, than Vanilla, A Link to the Past, and Other Dark Room, for that reason. Especially in this, being able to do a guideless or just something like bombs or something. It does also have that hammer you can kind of use to echolocate a little bit in here. So you should be okay. Can't really tell what Solski. I assume he's making it. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be popping out here. Yeah, so he was just doing it completely without any sort of guide there, just pure based on feel. Or some sort of timing that he's got memorized.
Yeah, you can use some other things too, like the bats. If you get close to the areas where the bats are, you kind of can know exactly how far you've progressed through the cave. If you fall in the hole on purpose or on accident, that can help you find your way a little bit better too.
Yeah. So Osse at 3 E-tanks plus this reserve. I don't know if that's enough for him mentally to go ahead and do the deboost through X-ray. He's also got like screw. Like, he'd have to turn off screw attack and that kind of stuff to be able to do it. So that might be ironically play into his decision making a little bit. Yeah, and then Solski is deciding to do the Bryn loop. A little interesting considering. I know he's kind of a proponent of kind of following what you find. Deciding to do Brinstar before going into Norfair, though.
Ooh, that's a nice heads-up play to shoot a super missile with that Yapping Maw, so he didn't get too much of his health eaten away by the acid there. But yeah, I agree. It's a little surprising not following the Varia suit. Maybe just feeling like he's already found something good that Osse might not have with that hammer. So he's going to be a little bit more thorough getting the rest of the puzzle to get to Dark World.
Yeah, none of that puzzle, however, is in this Bryn loop. So in fact, I don't. Was anything in the speed was in? I mean, right here, speed was in here.
Yep. So you got that speed now.
Yeah, which may not even be required. We do have the grapple beam to get into a wreck ship. Really, it's the only thing that speed is really gonna be hard unlocking for the rest of it, besides the specific speed lock items. I mean, that being said, speed. You know, we're trying to go fast. Speed's in the name. You definitely want to have it.
Yeah, for sure. Especially for some of the later areas like Meridia. When they eventually get to Meridia, the speed is huge for making that area so much faster. So many big open rooms. Yeah, and we get to see the very quick but rarely seen Bomb Chorizo fight in an SMZ3. Since the players do have Morphball bombs, they are going to have to fight him. So Solski, if he goes there, is going to have the same thing.
Yeah, is Solski?
Huh. I think he fell on accident there. I think he messed up the
yeah, but you can do the mock ball in the room, which is but if you screw it up. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, okay, and this is I was about to stop. This is what I expected Osse to do, kind of go to wreck ship here with that speed.
Yeah, speed's nice, especially not only does it make sure you don't orphan any items here in wreck ship, but it also makes it a lot easier to get up to those like sky missiles which, you know, there's other ways to get up there. You don't really need any movement items to get that, but it's painfully slow without anything else.
Yeah, there's like 3 items in Wreck Ship you really got to be worried about. There's the Wreck Ship energy tank, past Spike Room of Death. You can do that with just power bombs, which Osse can obviously do, but it's a pain. There's the Sky Missiles, which if you have no movement items can just be a nightmare to get up there, and there's also the Wreck Ship Reserve, which is hard locked by Speed. Speed really solves all 3 of those problems for you. So putting off Wreck Ship until you have Speed is what a lot of players look to do. So, and to Osse, for all he knows, this is his logical access to Wreck Ship, and it might have actually been what the randomizer. You know, you don't know how the randomizer actually placed the items when it was making the seed. So this could have been the intended logical access over here. Oh wait, no, never mind. Oh yeah, no, we can get up here. Never mind. Yeah, the Morph bombs put the speed in logic.
Yes, that's correct. I think there's a specific energy tank requirement as well for SMZ3 to get through the gauntlet, but you can't really count on that.
I'm not sure.
You can't really count on that or really work that into your decision-making process, because you're almost always going to just find extra energy tanks that haven't been logically placed, but just so happen to be on the path.
Yeah, there's just so many of them. It's really better to assume that the energy tanks are out there somewhere rather than it being the very weird seed that has them locked. All right, so Osse into his Fantoon fight. Let's see if he can get the 2 cycle off there. And it looks like he didn't quite get in quite enough on that first round. Going to be a 3 cycle here. He must be able to quickly finish off Fantoon here in that 3rd cycle. Very nicely done.
Yeah, still a nice 3 round.
Yeah, the one extra. You know, I yelled at Solski last time for messing this up, and I told him to learn the moonwalk setup, and he was like, "I never messed this up. I've never messed this up in 6 months," and he messes it up again.
He does get it though after a couple tries, so just lost a little bit of time. Still a lot faster than fighting Spore Spawn.
Yeah.
He gets a whole lot of nothing for his trouble.
So we'll see how far Osse wants to continue here in Wreck Ship. Generally, if you're gonna do a Wreck Ship like top skip, you need to find something in the front half that makes you want to skip it, and especially without Dark World access yet, and he's really running out of places for it to be. We know there is that hammer. He doesn't even have that. You know, he's got really 0 out of the 3 pieces, and effectively at this point, Boots. You know, Boots just really replaces the Moon Pearl as one of the activators for Dark World.
Right, and it might be that we know the knowledge of where the Varia suit is, but I wouldn't be surprised if Osse is thinking, based on not having, you know, those boots, the hammer, or glove yet, might be thinking that a suit's going to be earlier in the progression chain than Dark World access, which is, in fact, what we've seen on on Solski's side.
Yeah, we'll have to see why he bailed out on that Varia. Now, Norfair is one of those things that maybe you look to just do one single dip later on with like lower Norfair, maybe. But there's a bunch of ways that gets avoided with maybe like a flute and mitts where you can just come in through Mire. So with Varia being so early there, you could definitely see the argument to be made for just going ahead and doing it. And like, unless the game is going to give you lower Norfair access this early in Brunstar, there's really nothing else SM wise that's going to cause you to abandon any. There's speed would make the trip a little bit faster, obviously, through the Frog Speedway. I guess no, he has a Morpho Bomb, so he could even get to like all the Croc locations too.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been abandoning the pantry item or anything like that. Those were all available to him already.
I'm sure we'll ask Solski when he gets in here, and he'll explain to me how it's incredibly obvious, and I'm an idiot for not realizing it.
That sounds pretty familiar based on the interactions I've heard between the two of you.
Yeah, no, we'll just do the interview right now, honestly. It's a stupid question, Doc. Not sure if he's... Okay, yeah. No, he doesn't really need to farm for... He's got Screw Attack here, just gonna completely murder these side hoppers, no problem.
And we, apart from this ammo we're seeing here in Wreck Ship, not anything important. And ammo's already pretty high. Kind of surprisingly, we're already at 40 super missiles, 20 power bombs. That's quite a bit. Not enough necessarily for the end of the game, but at this point, I would imagine both of our runners at 35 and 40 supers are comfortably going to be skipping any that aren't on path, assuming they'll find a couple more in chests that they can't avoid.
Yeah, again, before you... Well, at least, I mean, Solski's the Vari suit, but before you find that Vari suit, you're probably always going to be looking to grab any sort of ammo. Even missiles, if your missiles aren't have a higher count than your supers, because you need the crystal flashes. But Osse will be stumbling to that Vari suit fairly soon here. I kind of expect the red tower dip. Really, the only mystery at this point is if Osse decides to do X-ray. With his health, I kind of want to say this is kind of his dividing line for when he's comfortable doing it. So I kind of expect him to do it, but we'll see. That could be a pretty big turning point if he does decide to miss out on or skip out on those X-ray checks.
Yeah, and I don't want to look past it for anybody else that might have missed it, but Osse did pick up the fire rods. That is one important item, potentially not required still, but very unlikely that that's the case. We don't know what our Dark World crystals and pendants are yet, but
it's definitely required because we know two of our pendants, Desert Palace and Swamp. So
that's right.
One
Swamp was the green. I forgot about that already.
Yeah, one of Skull or Turtle Rock has to be a crystal.
Right.
We don't know which one, but one of them definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Solsti's gonna carry a nice little shine suit up here. Straight in.
All right, and there's the mirror too. So
yeah, so
that sets up all of East Death Mountain if Osse is able to get the hammer, or conversely, if Solski picks up that mirror before.
Yeah.
Fast.
If he does get that hammer, that does put all of Hera in logic too on that first Death Mountain trip. Actually, would pull all Death Mountain in. Yeah, logic. I think that's what you just said. Now that I think about it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We're a good team. It's fine.
Yeah, we're on the same page. That's the important thing. Yeah, we'll see if Osse does hit that. If he does skip X-ray, like you were saying, he might be that this is like around the threshold of where he feels comfortable doing it quickly.
Yeah.
If he skips that could be punishing. He might be tempted to go up to Hera without the hammer and have to double dip it.
Like if he had full health, like his had maximum health right now, he may do it. He doesn't though, so he'd have to farm to get back up there. That might be the deciding factor for him, honestly. The fact that he does not have full energy, and I don't think there was an energy tank in these early. Yeah, because they're the same amount. So yeah, honestly, I kind of thinking we may see him. He doesn't even have enough power bombs to do a crystal flash. If that's he could get those easily enough in X-ray itself though.
Yeah, or just grab these caterpillars on the way out as well, and he'd be more than comfortable with one crystal flash.
Yeah, he is looking to farm them here. He would have enough just to kind of go straight to Kraid with no problem. So that might also just be pure muscle memory, just always be farming power bombs, which is not a bad idea, honestly.
Yeah, did Solski just leave to Link to the Past just to get the reset here to the ship?
Yeah, he did. So he'd avoid finding the bomb chorizo if it wasn't anything.
Okay, that's a nice play. And and he's going to wreck ship. This makes sense since he skipped upper Norfair for now. It definitely makes sense. He's going to continue to skip that with this reset being in the area by wreck ship. He does miss that ocean fly though. Has to climb back up.
Osse is skipping out on X-ray, so this is an official, pretty sizable advantage for Solski here.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's one of those things that it's an advantage as long as Solski's able to leverage it, because just finding something your opponent doesn't help you unless you can turn it into more progress or simplify your routing.
Well, it's if nothing else, if we told Osse where Hammer is right now, right, and told him where Grapple was, he's going to have to go get Grapple. I mean, that's just a bunch of wasted time. So I mean, it's certainly not at the point where it's game defining yet. But Solski definitely basically has some time in the bank now because of that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, especially like I said, guys at this level, just I mean, if I feel comfortable saying that if these guys did exactly the same exact thing, exact same routing, Osse would probably win this one, just being a little bit of a stronger SM player. But so Solski does need to, but doesn't necessarily need to do less checks or anything like that. Just have a route that maybe involves a little less backtracking or anything like that. Will be enough to swing this thing. So Solski is in a really good position to do that right here. Yo, yeah, Osse, sure. Remembering how to do crate quick kill. Congrats, Osse.
Yeah, for anyone wondering, I don't think that's a dig at Solski for missing it. More
that's
so
that's a dig at Osse for missing it so much.
Surprisingly, yeah, for how good he's been, or for how good he is at this game, he's been having a little bit of difficulty with that lately. So does a fantastic job. We'll look at Solski's Fantoon fight. See how well he does. Decent start on that first Doppler.
Yeah, actually did a pretty good job there.
Hard to tell if he's set up for 2 or
yeah, he's not.
3.
Yeah, you see how he just changed to the deeper red on that. You want him to be in that deep red, the first one. Theoretically, it was possible to get it, but he would have to have an outstanding Doppler.
Alright, there's Osse picking up his various suit.
Now, in Osse's case, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't take this straight into Norfair. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he dipped out to Link to the Past real quick here, just to get that save point. That wouldn't be that weird.
Yeah, but, and then maybe check Spectacle Rock, since it's 2 items he can grab there with the mirror.
Yeah, but considering he's already done Brinstar and everything is already... It'd be a little weird if he decided to, he got this Varia suit for him to go, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go back to Sasha and see what he had for me. That would be...
Or just walk to a
little on the outside.
Or,
yeah,
or
something like
those are the other Sphere 1 checks we've got available. We haven't seen yet. Front of Escape and...
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a skill... Yeah, he's going to be coming out here. Checking these... You should get the save point. And Spec Rock. There is definitely a skill to... you generally always want to just keep pushing forward in the logic, but you do have to know when is the time to kind of backtrack to some of those things that you may have skipped. But if the games keep giving you forward progression, generally that's not when you're going to turn around and do something earlier. Unless it got so late that you were doing Pot and Eastern, and it's well, at that point you're going to check Sasha if you have Mirror or something like that, which they do.
Right. And I don't recall, was there anything valuable at all on Spectacle Rock? I know the inside was not important.
No,
I don't think.
we can just see on the tracker there's nothing that Solski has that Osse doesn't here.
Oh, I just meant the one that was scoped out
Oh,
by
the one on
Solski,
top.
He wasn't able to pick up without the mirror. Okay,
Yeah,
just a heart piece was
I
there
don't
though.
think so.
Yep, and as expected, Osse going back into Norfair. Well, Solski does his clear of wreck ship.
Yeah, he's got that screw attack, going to make pretty easy work here of the attic. Be a very difficult room, but screw attack pretty much trivializes it.
Yeah, that's true for most of the game. Screw attack trivializes pretty much all of Super Metroid, which is why they give it to you so late in the vanilla game.
Yeah. The other thing going for Osse right here, kind of expect to. Yeah, he's going to power bombs here. Well, I guess he would be either way. Doesn't have ice to be able to do the escape, but we're going to go down here and kind of expect him just to go straight to Croc here with speed and Varia, which is an option that Solski did not have.
Yeah, Croc's often called the pendant dungeon, or a pendant dungeon in Super Metroid, or a comparable thing like that, but this is the quickest way to get here for sure. When you're already at Crumble Tower, just using your speed booster, so you might as well be thorough and efficient in your clearing. I think it's a good call.
And there's our ice rod. So we'll see what the likelihood of that. It's not quite an early ice rod. I don't know if that forebodes a pendant turtle rock or not, but
it's better than a go mode ice rod, right? An ice rod hunt.
I feel like anytime you get ice rod before you're doing the cataloging of what you need for go mode, that's the dividing line of whether or not turtle rock is a pendant or not, or just basically anytime you get it before you see whether it's a pendant or not, it's going to be a pendant. So the one thing about that hammer spot, unless we somehow run into 2 gloves here, the game is going to force Osse back there sooner than later. So he's not going to be in the situation where he's full clearing both games looking for that item. If it was something like if it was the ice rod or something like that, that potentially could have been way more devastating.
Yeah. There is always the potential of, well, there's one glove and the sword. I was going to mention potential of Aga for Dark World access, since the runners do have the cape, and that's the first sword upgrade. So as long as they get that Moon Pearl, that's Dark World through Aghanim.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we basically need boots on Pyramid for Aga to be a thing.
Yeah, or boots somewhere else in Upper Norfair. Mushroom. Okay, so Croc is definitely paying out with a lot of good things, a lot of potentially annoying things, but that mushroom as a fetch quest might be important. Gloves, the big one, that's definitely going to be required.
Yeah, so I think maybe Solski wasn't doing this. I mean, he did have all of Brinstar, obviously. He didn't have the speed, which you can see makes the routing for Osse a little bit nicer. But he could have just done Upper Norfair loop down into Croc. I suppose. I mean, to him, Croc would have been out of logic. But Croc's one of the ones you don't worry too much about logic, because all it takes is wave to put it in. And wave is something you're never going to look for logic. It's certainly nice to have. But like you'd hate for like wave just to be sitting somewhere and you avoid it proc because of that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing where you keep it in the back of your mind that that's out of logic. If you find anything there, you try to remember that, but you wouldn't route away from it. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah,
There's
it. Oh, it was very nice transfer.
As expected.
Croc Lodge is also kind of weird because it's like the thing that lets you, like if you're an upper Norfair, right, and like you don't have speed, you don't have wave. Speed also lets you get back to Croc faster, so it's like you're also incentivized to do Croc out of logic if you're over here because you don't have speed, which is ironically the thing that puts it in logic. But it would just make it if, like, for instance, you find wave, it just makes it takes a fairly long time to come back around here with speed. So it's a weird bit of reasoning, but it's like not having the logical access almost makes you want to do it more.
All right, Osse did scout out that medallion at the bottom of Bubble Mountain, so I imagine he'll pick that up on the way out. Is that an ether medallion? Did I see that correctly?
I think it was Quake.
Quake, okay.
It certainly was a medallion. I'll say that.
Yeah, we'll get a better look at it when he goes to pick it up after these 4 checks.
Or maybe it was ether. I don't.
Solski with a nice quick Moldorm fight. Finish off the first crystal of the game. It looks like he got both items. The small key is locked in the basement there, so that's a pretty nice dungeon. You feel good about that, not having to make that decision of do you go to Hair Basement and wait out that cutscene, or do you just bail on it and hope it's nothing because it's such a time sink.
Yeah, with this ammo count and health, Osse could actually decide to do lower Norfair right here with just doing the lava dive. Probably not. If he did that, I would expect him just kind of. Well, no, he doesn't have gravity suit, so he wouldn't go down here.
Yeah, I think that's a risky play without the Moon Pearl. You know you're not going to be able to get into the mire in that area, and you're risking potentially having to lava dive again later on to get back to that area.
Yeah, there's definitely reasons not to do it.
Yeah.
The main argument for it is lower Norfair is pretty linear. You don't save too much by doing it later. Osse, definitely guys is having trouble with it. But yeah, he's just gonna come out get Cathedral here. Really, the bigger thing is it would just be a little slow now with his equipment.
Yeah,
oh, well,
I guess.
Never mind.
There's so many things that you can sort of count mire in that lower Norfair loop because it is kind of on the way, and having to go all that way for the mire area.
I think he's gonna do it now. He's turning around with those high jump boots. I think the high jump boots are making him do. So another thing, he does have the mirror here, so he can go in, do desert. He can also do mire shed if a little minor glitch. He can do the checkerboard cave. So yeah, he is going to isolate that. Isolate the mire, which is a crystal. Of course, if we stumble into flute, you can just come back and get it. I mean, when Solski on Death Mountain, he's going to get that hook shot. So that hammer.
So those are both entries into mire as well as the Moon Pearl availability.
That's also that's also Dark World access. Although Solski doesn't quite know it yet, he will be getting it here shortly. Yeah, so we'll see if this play plays off their Osse. I'm not 100% sure if the high jump boots is what swung it for him, or he was planning on doing this no matter what. The high jump list is a little risky, just a little tricky. If you fail it, it's a little bit harder to reset up. Osse is certainly capable of pulling it off, but just may just not be worth it. But yeah, this with this equipment, it's not too bad. He'll be able to do pretty much all of his 80% strats here, so it shouldn't be really won't be too slow of a Norf. Actually, it's going to be pretty much as quick as it can be with that screw attack and everything.
I think saying the high jumpless lava dive is a little bit tricky might be the biggest understatement I've heard you say all day.
I'm putting it in Osse terms. It's a little bit tricky for Osse.
Is that the blue cane off of Sit Kid? That's
it was.
Not really important with the cape. Probably won't get used at all.
This is really minor. I guess it's mostly for the Sit Kid check, but I don't quite like Solski coming in and getting this Moon Pearl right now. He could have just delayed that until he finds his glove, and then just go straight into Dark World right there. But I mean, that's really minor. It's only a handful of seconds.
I'm actually going to disagree with you. I think it's a really good call because you know it's there, you know that you need it, and you can potentially get something big off that bottle check, and just in general.
Yeah, sure. He's still got all of Norfair that he's completely bailed out on.
Right, but he knows that he got that basically as early as he could, and if he sees that as an advantage, the ability to get those boots, he's going to do the link to the past checks more heavily to get as much advantage of having the boots for quicker transport as possible. Because against Osse, having something that helps you move faster than him is huge.
Yeah, sure. I'm just saying he didn't need to go necessarily cash in the Moon Pearl and the. Like, I'd prefer him to do this stuff first, because as soon as he gets the glove, he can go into Dark World after getting that Moon Pearl from the library. Like I said, it's only a couple seconds. It's very minor, but it would save him a trek over to Kakariko.
Yeah, he might be intending to go in through around Hype Cave anyway, and with no sword, that makes sense. With no sword, knowing Skullwood's a crystal, you don't necessarily want to jump in there, not be able to complete Skullwoods.
Oh boy, yeah, I've made that mistake several times.
Yeah. It feels better if he had a sword. I would absolutely 100% agree with you. I think that might be a difference, kind of looking at all the little pieces, and it's hard to put yourself in exactly the shoes of the runners either way, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that could have just been the old. I need 30 seconds to think of what I need to do, and I might as well go get an item I 100% know I need anyways. Yeah, and it's worth the 4 seconds of efficiency that I'm here complaining about. Did we see Osse get into the Mire shed yet?
I don't believe so. I saw Checkerboard and Agina both for nothing.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna. It might actually be going into desert here. This is a pendant. If he does decide, yeah. Okay. He's gonna just. Well, he's gonna try to do a 1-frame mirror and up on the same frame. That will give you Super Bunny state moving into Mire shed right here.
Yep, lets you open chests. It does not let you use things like bombs, but you can still use the mirror to delete those blocks and open the chests, and that's what you need to do.
Okay, so this play not paying off yet. Really, for this to pay off, Osse needs kind of to find something down here. Hopefully, something that will speed him up. Although he's kind of out of the things that will actually speed him up. Really, he's just looking for routing efficiency at this point. It looks like he's going to steal this key, too. With this being a pendant, this is a pretty good call, honestly.
Yeah, especially knowing the boots are going to be not the latest thing. You're not going to have go mode boots or maybe never find the boots, which is the only real risk of stealing the key if there's one on the torch and you you know, maybe are forcing yourself to get those boots to find an item or complete a dungeon. That's not going to happen.
There's the high jump boots for Solski. We'll see if he ends up deciding to do the same thing here. He's going to end up getting Dark World access kind of before making this lava dive. Oh, I guess he can make it right here. But he's probably going to go get those gloves. So we'll see if he decides to do it. Again, there's nothing really out there that's going to speed him up all that much through Lower Norfair. He's got pretty good ammo. May just be more concerned about the Meyer play at this point. Or he may just be thinking, with those high jump, Osse, he might be thinking that Osse's likely to make that Lower Norfair play. As I said earlier on, if Solski just follows in Osse's footsteps, Osse is likely to take this one just with a little, you know, pretty much the edge in Super Metroid. So Solski's best bet is to do stuff he knows Osse is not doing, and just hoping stuff's in his path and not in Osse's path.
Weird question for you, Duck. Is it just me, or is it normal for some of those blocks not to crumble on the way out of speed or into speed?
To not crumble?
Like one random block right before the door on each side just didn't disappear on Solski.
Oh,
I can't say I've noticed that before. That's very interesting.
I think they're like a different block or something on the edges there. Like it's not a crumble block or something. It's a shot block. I don't know.
Like there's one of the ones in the center of the grouping of blocks just did not disappear.
I think there is a shot block there, because if you like fell down and morphed, you'd be soft locked. So I think those are shot blocks. I'm sure someone will enlighten us here shortly.
Oh, I haven't seen Azure in chat. He's usually the one to explain all the meticulous details.
Yeah, he was lurking earlier.
All right, and Desert was not boots locked, so Osse is going to be able to complete the dungeon. Finding the small key.
Yeah.
Stole.
Little bit of an interesting call. You're investing a significant amount of time getting this one item off of Landmo here. I guess if you're going to make this play, you kind of have to exhaust it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool purple Landmo. Apparently Osse is shooting him with his wave fire rod.
Yeah, it's a nice side effect of the variation of sprites you can have. Can change some of the NPCs and some of the bosses, especially when they take damage. I've noticed on Trinex and Landmo in particular, you get neat colors. But unfortunately, no value there on Landmo.
Yeah, so he does have the rest of Lower Norfair here to kind of still get some value from this play. Like the thing is, like, Osse doesn't need something to be here for this to be good. Really, he's just picking up a little routing efficiency from not having to come back here later. Just as long as he can he finds Flute and Mitts at some point. If he doesn't find those, then he's going to lose all that efficiency by being forced to lava dive again later on.
Yeah.
For that Meyer crystal.
Yeah, the only real inefficiency here is he does have to farm just a little bit. No charge beam. He did use most of his super missiles on that Gold Chorizo fight, so he should be able to farm really efficiently. He's obviously, as a top RBO runner, knows how to farm efficiently before the Ridley fight as needed.
Yeah, well, usually you have grapple for that, so...
That is true, he doesn't have the grapple.
Yeah, the way you farm efficiently is you use the grapple beam.
That's a good point.
Solski just going with the missile surprise here on Crocomire. It's so Solski's going to be picking up his Croc spoils. Solski, you can just wall jump, buddy. You got it. All right.
He's showing off that grapple beam that somehow he knows Osse doesn't have it, so he's going to put it to use.
He's still beating Croc. As long as you beat the bubbles back over, you haven't lost any time.
Yeah.
You actually don't even really want to put Croc back on screen too soon, because then it'll cause additional lag. If you didn't spend 20 minutes just screwing around with the grapple beam, you still want to wait over there in any case. So I guess he did the optimal thing there, maybe?
Yeah, as long as you're not losing time, I'd say that's optimal.
Yeah, technically optimal. Man, that's actually a good name for Solski. I'll say a couple nice Kagos to those platforms on his way to Ridley. I'm gonna do the shine strats here because we don't have full beam, so this is the fastest thing to do.
All right, and then Solski with his mids, this is going to be interesting to see where he opts to go. He does have that sword now, so now Skull Woods looks a lot more appealing to him, more than likely, once he's finished up with the cosine room and makes it out of Lower Norfair.
Yeah, I think...
Upper Norfair, or Lower Norfair, but I don't think that's the best call for him with all of Dark World available, with those boots.
Yeah, he's got the boots, he's got the Dark World available. He may even... Honestly, he may feel behind to his Dark World. Having this Varia early, could have just gotten all this stuff. Would have had Dark World access fairly early on, could just skip Brinstar and everything. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if Solski felt a little behind here. You know, not by too much, but you know, Osse could have very easily had these things a while ago. So we'll see what he decides. If he does feel behind, he actually might be inclined to make this Lower Norfair dip, thinking that Osse stumbled into, you know, his Dark World access early. The funny thing is, whenever I find anything on X-Ray and I'm playing Osse, I just go, well, Osse has that. I'm just going to assume he found that already at some point. While prattling, Osse managed to kill his Ridley without us even noticing. Very, very well done.
Yeah, and at the same time, Solski having a nice efficiency here to go back up through Crumble Tower, which takes a fairly precise Shine Spark to the left there after coming out of the Croc door to get through the wall. That's
it's
nicely
really
done.
Just really awkward Shine Spark, honestly. Especially, he does have high jump, so yeah, it made it a little easier there, but still, just you gotta get that charge. You gotta get through there exactly where the Samus's Shine hitbox is actually bigger than you think it is.
Yeah, it's unintuitive.
So it can be, yeah, it's definitely like you think you should be fine, and you're just kind of standing there.
Then you bonk your head on the wall because you're a quarter of a tile too high, even though it looked perfect. Alright, well, that didn't look like anything on Ridley, so thus far, Lower Norfair trip has been pretty fruitless.
Yeah, interesting. Osse laid the power bomb up there, not going for the D-boost strat here. Probably just wants to preserve his health. Well, he does have the screw though, so it's not like he's really worried about key stairs or Three Musketeers or anything like that. Three Musketeers can actually be quite the nightmare in Rando, because usually there's a couple like manips that everyone knows to get through there. But you want to check that item, and then by the time you come out, they're God knows where, and then they can just be hell to deal with.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is something to do with Solski feeling behind, or just feels like it's a good time to check this, but he's jumping into Spike Caves super early.
Yeah, I think you kind of get, you know, spit out halfway up the mountain here when you're coming out of Norfair. So spit out right there. He did get that Cane of Myrna right there. Actually, I really, you know, thinking about it, I really like that play. You know, he stumbled into that Cane of Myrna. He's got everything he needs for it. He's closer than he's ever going to be, you know, just staying on Link to the Past. So I actually think that's a pretty smart heads-up play right there.
Yeah, and then you can save and quit out of there to either Sanctuary or Link's House to go to your main Dark World. And of course, with Crystal, Thieves Town, and Skull Woods, the ability to full clear both of them, that's the obvious starting point for Solski here.
Meanwhile, the only thing Osse finding so far is this shovel. This is the worst spot for it, especially if Solski puts off this to like go mode or something. This is gonna be a lot of time Osse is spending for that shovel if it's not actually anything. Not only getting there, but he's gonna have to cash it in. If Solski does do this in go mode, Solski will completely be able to skip all of that. Nice spike suit.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. That spike suit, that tells me that it looks like Solski, or sorry, not Solski, Osse. He's going to be
he's gonna do it for X-ray.
X-ray with that.
Oh, no.
Unless he sparks up here, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, if he can make it there.
He did not. I think
he did not. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little behind.
But okay, yeah, that was a really heads-up play. He was going to take that suit, get the free Shine Spark all the way across X-Ray, not to worry about the health, and just, of course, speed it up considerably. It's a really hard one to hold on to because, like we saw from Osse there, you know, a straight vertical jump triggers the Shine Spark, and you lose it. Meanwhile, Osse, or man, I'm getting their names mixed up. Both have E's at the end. Solski getting bullied by the Gibdos here. Luckily, he's got blue mail. Losing a little bit of time, getting that statue moved into position.
Yeah, so yeah, Osse's really gonna need that shovel to be something. Solski's got a nice. You know, he's definitely on the right path here.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if there wasn't any value in lower Norfair, it isn't necessarily a disadvantage for Osse, provided Solski also checks those things. But if Solski's able to skip them, then it becomes a disadvantage. And already having done lower Norfair, Osse is skipping energy tanks already at, what is he at, 4 energy tanks?
Yeah, 4.
I mean, I'm sure it's very likely he'll pick up a few more on the way, so he's not expecting to finish the game with 4.
Yeah, I mean, lower Norfair's really the only place you need them. You know, having them on, you know, people think like, oh, we can do stand-up. You know, stand-up's only really saving you like 20-ish seconds, somewhere around there, if you do it perfectly, and that's if you have full beam. You may not even be able to do it, you know, in a given seed. So going out of your way, you know, wasting any of those precious 20 seconds just to be able to do it is definitely a losing play in the long run.
Yeah, the refill, I was going to say, is possibly more beneficial for Osse here, since getting an energy tank, even in Link to the Past, does fill your energy back up to full. But fortunately, there is one in a chest in the same dungeon, so he picks that one up, meaning next time he goes into Super Metroid, he will have full energy.
Yeah, and Osse going to be losing a little bit more time here to Solski, having to do this fighter sword fight. Just having to do 3 extra slashes on Moldorm versus the 3 hammer hits, plus this enraged phase is just the literal worst, especially without boots. You see a lot of NMG players use the boots there to finish off Moldorm in that phase by just dashing straight through him.
Yeah, he gets through the fight, and we kind of glossed over Solski's nice Mothula fight with the Fire Rod.
Yeah.
Well done.
So, and yeah, I just realized we do have that pendant Turtle Rock. So I guess it's a good time to kind of take stock here of what we actually need for Go mode, because we're closer than you'd think. We need Bow, Red Cane, and Master Sword. I think that's it. Yeah, I don't need gravity suit.
Yeah, potentially. No, I guess we have the ether. We don't need medallion for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I mean we have high jump and grapple, so we can do a suitless Dragon. Get through that, no problem. So we can potentially see a gravity skip here. Don't need the flippers, not hard required. I mean, of course, if there is something in Swamp Palace or something in Meridia, we will need those items. I mean, you could do a suitless, but no one does that in normal just because of how slow it is.
Right.
It's definitely that'd be a very Cosmic Brain play. But yeah, we're not that far away from go mode. So yeah, I think yeah, Solski definitely probably on the right path here. I think it's time just to start leaning hard into any dungeon, crystal dungeon that you can full clear. Although surprisingly how close we are to go mode, there's not a lot left that we can clear Thieves Town. Oh, we need Mitts. Mitts sounds important.
Mitts as well. And logically, you're expected to have the flippers. We can skip those as well.
You play enough major glitch categories, you you treat the Mitts as optional as well, to be honest. So.
Yeah, this is a little out of the way for Souls to be checking these before Thieves Town and Village of Outcasts, but not too surprising. He's just going to be thorough. This does help make a nice swoop of the Dark World.
Yeah, I think Osse just got a little bit of a sinking feeling in his stomach. Obviously, he kind of had that X-ray check on his mind, trying to get that spike suit. Realizing he blew it, and then finding that grapple right afterwards. So we'll see how quickly he turns around to that. Maybe feeling like he wants to play a little defensively. But if Solski, and he does know Solski does quite enjoy the Sasha location. So he may decide to play defensively, try to beeline to X-ray as soon as possible. Or he may decide that he thinks Solski is maybe close enough to him that he just gotta abandon it and hope it's nothing. Which, unfortunately for Osse, it is definitely something.
Yeah. Yeah, Solski picking up the flute as well in C-shaped house.
Yeah, that's actually good for Osse. Again, unless Mitts somehow are actually in Mire, or locked behind Mire specifically somehow. Osse will not have to do that second lava dive. There's no way he's missing that item. He will definitely get it with that mirror. Going to be able to just cash it in right after he gets it.
Yeah.
So even though Solski found it, oh, and there's the red cane. Jeez.
It's good and bad because it's good that Osse won't have to do that lava dive again, but it's bad meaning that Solski will also not have to do that lava dive and can just potentially, if he finds the mitts, can potentially flute straight there and just knock out Mire in his first trip to the Mire area along with Lower Norfair.
Yeah, Bo's gonna have to be in a really dumb location right now for them to for Solski to do that lava dive because he's probably just going to be putting off that Lower Norfair until it's really illogical access. And we know there's nothing there, so we know the game's not really going to force him to go there at any point. Did Osse do the shovel check? I didn't quite see.
I did not see it yet. I don't believe he has.
Okay, so I mean, so there might be something in Lower Norfair. Really, Osse's really only hope for that is for it to be Bo specifically, because everything else that we are missing is skippable. Or Mitts would be also very actually Mitts I guess would be the best because that would force the lava dive. Keep forgetting about those darn Mitts. Just...
It's hard because it's on the tracker. The glove's already lit up. It's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not the right color.
That's literally part of the reason. It's just it's kind of a hole in your brain a little bit. The other really big thing would be Bo being in Eastern here.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet, but I do believe there is an item for sure on Armos and in the big chest. I think we've seen both map and compass.
Yeah, but it's really crazy how many items we could potentially skip in this seed. You know, I mean, Solski does have the hook shot. I mean, Aussie will stumble into that almost guaranteed at some point with it being on Death Mountain there. This is a path to take, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by this as well.
I've never actually seen someone take that path in Rando. I can't. I'm trying to think if that would actually be faster. Yeah, that's. I wonder if Aussie's timed that. I'm gonna have to ask him about that. I wonder if that's just one of the like. That'd be like the weirdest case. Like I just see everyone do it, and I never timed it myself. I just kind of, especially when I first started playing Rando.
Yeah, you just
kind of like, oh, that's got to be the fastest way, right? Like, I wonder if that's just like a really, really bad case of groupthink that everyone got stuck into. I guess, does it save you a screen transition? You have to come in, go up. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it saves one screen transition. You can, instead of walking in to where the chest is, then transitioning up to Uncle and then back, you just fall in by Uncle.
Well, you do. I actually tested this. It is faster to get the chest, then Uncle, then. Well, if you're going to save and quit, that's faster. So maybe it is. Maybe it's faster if you are definitely going to come in. That might be it. It's faster if you're going to come into escape afterwards, and you know 100%. Which at the very beginning of the game, you obviously don't know because you have nothing, unless you just really want to bank on getting a weapon or something. Oh, and I guess Solski killed blind while we were debating the potential 1 second save that Aussie just had.
Yeah, blind's a simple fight. It looked like he had no trouble with it, which is to be expected.
Yeah.
As long as you at least mostly know the script.
I mean, Solski does not.
It's fine.
Yeah. Famously does not.
He knows enough of it to not have trouble with the fight.
He knows it is scripted. I'll say that.
I mean, his first 3 or 4 hits looked like they were perfect, and then I stopped looking because I just assumed he was fine. Because usually, if you hit the first couple hits, things aren't going to go badly enough after that point that you can really.
He's just done so much randomizer that situations where you don't have a sword or something like that. He's just gotten pretty good at the fight, even without scripts.
Hey, I've seen Solski do that with Cane of Samaria, with Hammer. Like, you kind of just have to get used to dodging the heads when you do those other options apart from a sword to kill blind. So he wasn't worried, and we weren't either. That's why we didn't watch it. Finishing up the rest of his front of escape, we'll see where he opts to go next. Still missing out on that hammer.
Yeah, the other thing, with those boots, being hard locked behind that hammer. Honestly, every second Aussie spends in A Link to the Past now, he's ceding time to Solski with just having a slower movement.
Yeah, and at this point, he's got just a lot of one-offs. So he's doing the fake flipper here to turn in his mushroom. Which is a good call. It's a fetch quest. Can't remember where the mushroom was. Do you recall?
It was in the Croc area.
It was Croc area too. That's right.
Coast side room.
Right.
So I mean, Solski will be able to do this shortly as well. Honestly, at this point, like locations like this for Aussie actually to find something is going to be pretty bad. Solski's going to be able to do it relatively quickly too, and it's just going to take Aussie further and further away from that hammer.
Yeah, Solski's likely going to do Catfish, Pyramid Fairy and Catfish, and then just mirror and check this on the way. So just an E-Tank, but he'll still have a little bit quicker trip getting there.
Yeah, I mean, if you had told me before this match that this match is going to be swung by an item on X-Ray, I would not have guessed that Osse would be the one to miss it. But it's just the exact way the seed played out with Osse, not getting that grapple, and Solski doing the Sasha, and then just Osse just not having the health. If there was a couple more E-tanks, or even just Osse having a little more health when he went there, very very well could have done it as well. Unless he's kind of changed his his metagaming with that X-ray. Just like the last I really noticed is he would generally do it if he had enough health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks like a momentary lapse there, forgetting he doesn't have flippers. Walking up at the top and then has the double back to get to Zora here. And we'll see if there's anything. I missed the ledge. Was there anything of value on the Zora ledge?
No, I didn't see either.
Okay.
Well, we'll know real shortly here. Nothing. I mean, with where we've found everything already, I really doubt any of these hanging light world locations, besides maybe the shovel, are going to be anything. A little surprised Osse didn't, do that first. That kind of was his really only lower Norfair payoff.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he just kind of forgot about it at this point.
I agree. Yeah, he also skipped or opted not to do the waterfall fairy check. As we mentioned, we can do that in Scylla Splash deletion. He's got the red boomerang. He's got some bombs.
Doesn't have the moon pearl.
Easier ways. Oh, you're right. That just puts some fake flipper. He doesn't have the pearl.
Yep. Moon pearl and
do that if he's comfortable with
boots. I mean, this seed has really just laid itself out completely perfectly for Solski. Grapple on Sasha to X-Ray to short health in SM to there being boots and hookshot hard locked behind that hammer. Like if you were to plano this to give Solski a really good routing chance against Osse, you'd set it up pretty much like this.
Yeah, and just to emphasize too, it's definitely some luck in how this played out, but Solski's made the right calls when he's had those opportunities to make a decision.
I don't want
to. He's gotten lucky to find the items, but then he's done the right thing with them to continue to progress forward. So.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that Solski just is lucking into this lead right now, but it is it is definitely playing out for him very very well. And like I said, these guys are really close. It didn't need much to break in Solski's way for him to have an edge here. I mean, this certainly isn't over. Yeah. We really need to be finding that. Once we find that bow, it's really going to open it up. And if this does go to Sulis, that RBO Dragon, Osse's got a big advantage there. Again, being one of the best RBO players. It's one of those fights that either goes perfectly or it goes a little wrong, and you have to start the whole thing over. So, I mean, we'll even see if Solski is comfortable necessarily doing it.
Yeah.
If we do have a go mode gravity.
I'm sure he is. I actually learned it from Solski,
okay.
Surprisingly enough. So it's definitely one that he can do.
Yeah, Osse trying to play this a little bit fast, just running on the spikes with all the health and VAR he's got now. Gonna be a little bit upset here. I mean, as upset as Osse ever gets, but yeah, not where he wants to see that. Knowing where that grapple was, especially if he remembers, he got that grapple a while ago.
Right.
If he remembers where that was, he knows that's something Solski's very likely to have early, probably before going into SM. So it's probably filling a little bit of a hole here. So we'll see what he decides to do. There's not much you could do at this point besides just kind of following that hammer and then following the obvious dark hole checks.
Yep, and there was a plasma beam, by the way, on that lumberjack. I was actually surprised Solski didn't mirror from bumper ledge when he checked bumper ledge to check that. He had boots, he had mirror, he had fire rod, even pearl. He could have done ag at any time if it was required at that point. But checking it now, not going to be getting the plasma beam for either of our runners. Definitely not worth the 3+ minutes to invest in AGA to go back to get that.
I mean, with the Ridley fight, I think it's something like 2 minutes with on both Ridley and Motherbrain. with a full beam versus like a plasma or a spacer fight, but that's versus a spacer fight. They're going to be doing a super fight on both of them, so really not going to be saving that time.
Yeah, with no charge anyway. So
yeah, no charge. Yes, assuming he even ran into all the other beams.
Doesn't even matter for Mother Brain, even if they do get all that. All right, so at this point, Solski's done, like you mentioned, he did all the full clearing crystal dungeons that he could do in Dark World. Running low on opportunities, he does have the ability to do that lava dive, and
yeah,
he's got what he needs to go into Mire and clear it as well.
He doesn't know that though.
He doesn't know that, but it still makes a lot of sense. Like he can still, at worst case scenario, like we mentioned when Osse did it, he can at the very least do all of Lower Norfair and at least get that information.
That's true. As I said before, unless once you have that flute, this is much less of a gamble because you can come back here. So it'd have to be a very specific setup for Solski to have to do a second lava dive with a, it'd have to be one of the medallions he doesn't have, and on top of that, it'd have to be blocked behind one of those things as well.
Right.
He does miss it the first try. Let's see if he gets it again here. This is so incredibly safe in Rando with the environmental nerf. Man, look how slow that ticks down.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever noticed that.
You didn't know? Yeah, it's 50% environmental damage in Rando.
I'm not sure I've had to do this in Rando since I've learned it in the vanilla game, and it's very comfy.
Yeah, in RBO, you're coming in with like
somewhat precise jumps. So I mean, you're
basically coming in with that much health in RBO, and you're lucky to get out alive.
Yeah. Yeah, it still requires a little bit of technical skill and just understanding how those jumps work. You can't just do a full jump off the top left Namahe, otherwise you'll get shot by a fireball. You have to do a delayed wall jump from the right side, otherwise you bonk your head and don't make it. So Solski definitely knows what he's doing, so even though it's not dangerous, he still has to do it right. He gets through it, no problem. Alright, so Osse finding everything that he needed here in East Death Mountain, the hookshot and the boots. He's going to pick his Moon Pearl into Dark World, I'm assuming, right away, and start making up some of that progress on dungeons that Solski has over him right now.
Yeah, so if there's something in Mire here, it's going to be another pretty big advantage for Solski. Osse would have to come back here. If it's Mitts, that's pretty devastating, honestly, because I expect Osse would put that off pretty long. Probably feeling he's behind a little bit and not wanting to kind of remake that investment.
Yeah, a little surprised Osse's also checking this by itself and not pairing it with the bumper cave check. Maybe this is faster than the mirror warps back and forth, but it does seem a little out of the way. This could potentially be that Osse's feeling a little bit behind though with that such a late hammer. That he wants to think, okay, well maybe Solski didn't check Lumberjack. Maybe this is something that I can get. Maybe I can do Aga. And he doesn't have this item right now.
Yeah, we'll see if Solski goes for this Desert Palace play. A little bit different weighing of odds here for Solski than for Osse.
Yeah, I would imagine we'd see Mire first either way, and maybe if there's nothing in Mire, potentially do Desert. But it looks like he is going to Desert instead.
Yeah. We may not do Lamo, at least. I think I like your idea a little better if you do find one of your remaining items there. Or if you find like Gravity, right, and then like Logic that just opens up so much logically,
right?
Probably where you're supposed to be going. Oh, that'd be really weird if and I actually Gravity would be pretty big to be a Mire, because that's a really big hint where mitts are, knowing it can't be lower Norfair. Honestly, if I saw gravity, I'd probably bail out of LN, because you know your mitts have got to be somewhere else.
Yeah, if you're still looking for bow, that'd be tough call. But I could see that making sense. Definitely a good insight on the logic of knowing where the mitts are, since you would need either mitts or gravity to get to lower Norfair. That's a good point. But unfortunately, this Desert Palace, unfortunately for both of our runners, it's laid out in kind of the worst way possible for a full clear.
Yeah, but Solski does have the boots when he comes in here, so just doesn't have to worry about any of the stealing the key shenanigans or anything like that. No, he can just straight up full clear it if he so chooses. We'll see if he makes this Lambo play. He's gonna go the wrong way, saving no time.
But he got the spin speed. That's the most important thing, right?
No. Saves 30 frames doing it the correct way.
I don't feel so bad for not doing the spin speed then, because I'm too scared to jump off the edge.
Yeah, it's
a
a pretty
30 frames.
It's a pretty minor time save.
You lose probably more than 30 seconds if you jump off the edge. So
yeah, especially
in this case.
Yeah, I mean, I generally go for it when I have to do a lot of the time to get back to desert. Even I go like, you know, let's just walk. It's fine.
Yeah. Osse also having a little bit of trouble with his Skull Woods, just like Solski did. He had a little trouble with the statue, and again with the mummy Hellway.
Skull Woods has been a thing the last 2 days.
It's not an easy dungeon.
It's really not an easy dungeon with that fighter sword.
Yeah.
Now we'll see how Osse's Moth turns out here.
Yeah, I like the call to use hammer. It is more DPS. He's able to do it with just 4 hits instead of the 8 fire rod shots. He does a fantastic job. Solski with a nice fire rod landmo fight as well. I missed it, whether it was looks like a 2-cycle. But that's still good. Without the tempered sword to get that free spin to start the fight, it's a little tougher to get all 6 fire rod shots. And I think Osse also got a 2-cycle, so they're even up there.
All right, so we'll see if there's anything in this mire. I'm just trying to think of the locations we really haven't seen yet. I mean, we got pod and without the bow, which is pretty gross.
Shovel, but that's out of logic.
Yeah, shovel. Yeah, there's not much. Well, this is out of logic too. Definitely should not be in mire. So, I mean, if it is pot, that is an opportunity for Osse to maybe make up some time if he decides to beeline that. Although, you know, Solski's kind of getting down to it as well. There's not too many locations left for Solski for Osse really to make up time that way. But at least we'll put them more on parity if he does decide to do that.
Osse have trouble with this bomb jump too. This is just not his Skull Woods. He's looking to get out of here quickly and move on from this.
Well, there's a charge beam.
Helpful at all, really, for Solski with no spazer and no plasma beam, no wave even. Just charge and ice is pretty terrible. He's not going to be using that on Mother Brain.
Wait, how does he not have? He doesn't have spazer?
No, he skipped it. He didn't want to waste the time to jump to the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
Well, he missed his first jump, and I don't think he wanted to set it up. And he tried to jump up there with speed and you know, just use his momentum to get up there.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's fair, but yeah.
With no charge, I could see that because you don't know if you're going to get charge. I think it makes sense either way.
Yeah, I guess Spazer in a randomizer setting saves you a lot less time than it does. There's some enemies later on that just trying to clear out with the pea shooter is pretty annoying.
Yeah, I think if you didn't have screw attack or if you already had charge,
it's true. The screw with screw attack, I'd be like, it's just we don't need that.
Yeah, I kind of like the call to pass up on that earlier by Solski.
So was that the second item in Meyer? I saw charge. I want to say there was something else.
There was a reserve tank in the compass chest.
Okay, yeah. So we have
that is both items. Don't have to sit through the cutscene.
Okay. Yeah. So Osse guaranteed now to be safe to put this off till the end. It's not going to be. I mean, if it was like Bo down here, or Mitz, that'd be a pretty devastating outcome for Osse at this point. So. Definitely keeping the match in contention here. Osse's going to be pretty much a full dungeon behind after this. Although he does have really in hand. So
yeah,
really overall, after all that, Osse's not really in that much of a hole. I've definitely watched Osse matches before where it's like it looks like he's pretty far behind, but then you remember he's already cleared a bunch of other stuff that his opponent haven't, and then he gets in go mode first, and then he's just fast to the finish. So,
yeah, the kind of the nice thing for Osse is that he has done a couple of out of the way checks already. Like everything else he's got here, even though he is behind on checks and still needs to do Thieves Town as well. They're pretty linear, dense locations. It's not like he's got Agina and Catfish and something else super out of the way, so he'll be able to clear what he's got left efficiently.
Yeah. This is also important. Solski is doing this Vidi fight with the fighter sword, making good use of the cape here. So speeding it up, pretty much one of the faster fighter swords fights I've seen. But if Osse does put this off and hopefully come back with a better sword, maybe even silvers, this is time in the bank potentially for Osse.
Yeah, and he's having a little trouble with the hammer hitbox. That's a tough one.
So
might as well just drink that blue potion. Even use the cape again if you feel necessary and finish up these eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, Solski's... is he still in green mail?
No, that's blue mail. It's a darker blue or more purple. Darker purple.
All right. Well, he's got 12 hearts in blue mail. I mean, he's really not going to, and half magic, really not going to need that potion at any other point.
Yeah.
In this seed, most likely, for a guy like Solski. So yeah, I definitely like the idea or the thought there. Just go ahead, use your blue potion. Better safe than sorry. This is the most likely. Going to be the only time you'll ever need it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of fair to say at the state of the race that, Osse just being a little bit faster naturally in SM, but Solski really just, with his routing, getting those movement items sooner. Basically, those two things have sort of come out in the wash a little bit. I think even Solski still has a little bit of overall advantage here. But these guys are pretty close to on parity right now. I think once Osse kind of finishes Thieves Town and does like South Dark World, and Solski does Lower Norfair, I think they're going to be more or less even in checks.
Yeah, I think we might see. We could even see like a convergence on that Palace of Darkness, which, unless we're missing something, I think we've realized is the only place left, right?
Yeah.
The logical progression, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Solski doing Spike Cave. Still don't remember if we've seen that shovel.
Nope, not yet, but I'm sure Osse will check that.
Yeah, really, I'm really, really surprised he didn't check that. I mean, he did. He cashed in the mushroom for the fetch quest. You would think of anything if you were to pick one of those. I would if you're going to make a high jump play for lava dive, and the only thing you find is shovel, and you're going to do a fetch quest. I feel like that's the one you're going to want to do. That is a interesting moonfall to do there. All right.
Is that not optimal? It looked like it
No,
would
you're losing so much of your forward momentum. You just always run forward in that room.
Okay. Yeah, I don't use moonwalk, so I didn't know.
I mean, no one does it. So I'm just assuming people smarter than me have tested it. There's a reason I don't see anyone do it.
See, also a little off script on the blind fight. He definitely does know the script.
Yeah, Osse definitely knows the blind.
Had a little bit of trouble staying on it, but that's fine. Still not a dangerous fight. Only losing, a second here or there by going off script.
Yeah, it doesn't take much for you to go off script there. Yeah, we're definitely gonna start seeing a little bit of a convergence here. Honestly, after all that, I think Osse might end up beating Solski to some of these checks. I mean, again, you can just see how strong of a player Osse is. That Solski, I think, unequivocally has had the better route in this, and Osse is, if not ahead, right on his heels right here. Although Solski will have Meyer. I am forgetting. Solski will have Meyer in his back pocket already completed, so that will be a significant advantage.
Yeah, Meyer, Catfish, and Spike Cave being the things that are out of the way for Osse that Solski's already done. Which we know Spike Cave and Catfish were nothing, so those Osse may not ever have to do. But if he does end up going to those, that's obviously time he's going to sink back in that Solski's already spent.
Yeah. Solski letting Ridley just get away from just a little bit, still cleans up the fight very quickly. Nicely done. That super fight is a pretty quick and easy fight to get through. That does a good job of it. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're definitely... any ammo that can be skipped is going to be skipped. 60 supers. We have Varia. Don't have to worry about hell runs or anything like that.
We even got Ice Beam to do Zeb skip easily.
And speed. Yeah, we pretty much...
speed, yeah.
Alright, let's see what this shovel is we've been prattling on about for about an hour. Well, it is that Quake.
Interesting.
We haven't seen...
Yeah,
no, we don't have mitts
yet,
so we haven't seen...
can't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that could, we could definitely see like a mitts and pod or something. And then could force that.
Rock, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Solski will definitely have that too. I mean, unless he... I can't imagine Solski making the call to skip the shovel in a situation like this. That's
not really like on path though with anything else to check. Once he's done with Lower Norfair, I think all he's got left is pod, and he'll have the shovel.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see the logic of skipping the shovel, where it's you gotta go all the way to get it because it's in the worst place in Lower Norfair. This is out of logic. It's unlikely to be anything because it's out of logic. I mean, we're still in the case where it's pretty unlikely that Turtle Rock needs to be Quake and then Turtle Rock needs to have Bow. I mean, that'd be quite the logic chain. So I could see Solski making the decision to to skip it, but it could be a game-losing decision at this point. Although we won't know for a little bit here until really we stumble upon these myths. Oh man, could you imagine if they were on Pyramid? Or did Solski?
We've seen Pyramid. It was like
Pyramid. Okay,
arrows or arrow upgrades, something not important. Yeah,
Yep.
which makes sense to check.
I still don't know if it's an arrow or an arrow upgrade. That was so quick, but whatever it was
I
garbage.
think it was just arrows, since the arrow upgrades I think are all 5, and that was there was a 10 on it.
Oh, that's right. They're all 5s now, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, so Solski is going to be investing the time in the shovel.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to get while you're here, just maybe not use right away, especially in his situation where this is a fairly late sequence break. He can assume that either Osse isn't doing this or Osse already did it way earlier.
Yeah, I mean, the argument to get that shovel is that's much more likely to be a game-losing play than it is to be a game-winning play. If that is something, right, you definitely lost the game. It's only a game-winning play if you know, you're gonna win it this match by 20 seconds.
Right.
Osse going for the quick fish and missing it. Somewhere out there, Kozler is very upset.
He at least gets the free quick warp.
Well, that's nice.
And this will be the Ancilla Splash deletion play. The timing's pretty precise on this boomerang throw.
What is it? Just use bombs. Yeah, what are you? Yeah, there you go. Oh.
He gets shot though by the Zora fireball.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's on since he's on the same screen.
Right. Doesn't get the soft lock or the death. Now that he is able to do this with his Moon Pearl, he's gonna.
Yeah, this would be really big if there's something here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Solski's familiar with this.
Yeah, he is.
Thought he knew it, but
Solski beat me in a race one time because I messed it up and he didn't.
Well, there are different equipment sets though, so I know there are plenty of people that only know 1 or 2 or 3 of the setups that are possible. Like I personally would never have thought to use Cane and bombs in conjunction.
Yeah, the Cane Bomb and Red Boomerang one is one of the 2 that get you to Zora Legend, so pretty much everyone knows those.
Oh,
except for you, I guess.
I know bow and bombs, and that's pretty much it, or just the Red Boomerang and bombs for that one.
Yeah, if you just put the Cane out, put 2 bombs, and throw the Boomerang, that also works.
Okay.
Pretty much as long as you get enough Ancilla on screen in any of those weird combinations, you're fine. The weird ones are when you're using like sword beams, or not sword beams, but like the sword sparkles, because like they don't persist correctly, like they're coming in and out like out of phase, so you can't guarantee that one's always going to be up when you need it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not familiar with that. Yeah, we do.
I think this is only used for like the more major glitchy Ancilla stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we do see Osse did sink a little bit of time there into, like I said, those checks that Solski had in the bag on him at Catfish, at Spike Cave, doing those before going into pod, which makes sense. I mean, you don't want to go into pod without the bow and potentially get spit out after 1 check. Or have to make the decision of do you sequence break the bow lock side anyway.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we can see they've both pretty much converged. Pretty much both have done everything. So Solski does have a pretty sizable lead right here. Not just first into pod. Yeah, but he's got that Mire in his back pocket. This is probably a big enough gap that Osse won't be able to just do, skill his way past it. There's going to need to be some more divergence after this point, and Osse needs to be able to get there fast. But there's not a lot of places left for there to be divergence. So Solski's in a really, really good spot. I mean, like I said, Solski, I've been talking about how good Osse is. I mean, Solski's very good too. The advantage Osse has is only, a couple minutes over the entire course of the game. So now that we're in this back half, there's not much he can really hope to gain back here.
Yeah, and at this level too, like both runners have definitely made mistakes and have had rooms or dungeons or screens in SM that they'd like to have back, I'm sure. we've seen some really good execution and some mistakes. Like even Solski missing that bomb, costing a few seconds. You could kind of see his frustration on that one. It's an uncharacteristic mistake.
Yeah, I think the Ossie's best hope right now is it being Quake Turtle Rock, and Solski makes the decision to go up Death Mountain before checking that shovel.
Yeah, I could see that. Or just something else that's stupid and out of the way later, like a gravity suit for a, Shack Tool mitts or Shack Tool bow.
Yeah, we haven't seen a whole we haven't seen a whole section of SM because it's been locked me on this gravity, and I'm just in my head thinking like, oh yeah, we don't need gravity. Well, okay, there's the mitts. So yeah, I was also thinking it feels a little unlikely Solski would go up Death Mountain without checking the hammer, because if we do find mitts, that does put the shovel in logic and make it a little bit more likely that it actually is something. But yeah, it definitely, the right call here to finish this out. If it is something else, I think they already do have the big key though, so you could just technically just come back and go straight to the boss. But you really, if there's something else here, you really don't want to miss it.
I believe so. I'm a little surprised of Ossie opting to do that that potion camera unlock to get to the right side, the out of logic side, before doing the back. Since you know this is where the progression has to be, you might as well get the progression first, and then if you still want to push it, if you know that it may be an item. Because the bow I don't think you really need, right? And if it's the mitts in the back, you know you don't have to worry about doing that clip to the right side.
Well, but it could be gravity over there for bow and Meridia, which you're not gonna, right?
Well, it couldn't be, because it'd be bow locked.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So it's either gotta be...
It could have been gravity in the back for bow in Meridia to get mitts from the right side, for example. But then you're gonna do the back first, get the gravity suit. No, that's an option. So either way, it's a very minor thing, and yeah, if you need those keys anyway, Solski will make that play later on, just save the second not doing the potion camera unlock.
Yeah, and Solski doing exactly what I said. That shovel now all of a sudden being in logic decides to go ahead and beeline it. So one of the aces in the hole that Ossie is now gone. Yeah, I mean, if you're rooting for Ossie, almost maybe hope it is the gravity, and Solski just has a little bit more trouble with the suitless stuff than Ossie does. That's probably the fastest way Ossie can just make back a chunk of time on Solski just through execution alone.
There's still opportunity for divergence, though. With those mitts, they do unlock a lot of things. They unlock not only all of Dark Death Mountain here, but you have the option, do you go into Turtle Rock or not? You have the option to potentially jump into Ice Palace and just clear that and assume that you're skipping the flippers and the progression chain and getting that crystal dungeon done. That's another interesting call that we might see one or both of the runners make before exhausting the other mitts checks. Dark Death Mountain is the most dense play, so this, I think, is a good first step, but do you think we'll see both runners jump into Turtle Rock here?
Well, we're still not even know if it's Quake. We've just been kind of making that up.
Right, we have 2 out of 3. 1 out of 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you come up here, there's so little left. And, like, if it's not, you kind of have to turn around and come right back here if you do your couple other checks. So there's our sword. What's something else we did need for go mode? That part is now done. We knew we had to stun one of those eventually. Yeah, I don't know if this is Quake. Let's see. Yeah, it is Quake. Yeah, I feel like you have... If you're going to make this play first, I think you are going to be priced into Turtle Rock at this point. And maybe along those lines, I think maybe the Ice Palace play, having that red cane for Icebreaker, making it a pretty quick go mode, or a pretty quick full clear dungeon now. I think maybe Ice Palace may have been the better play right off the bat, but we'll see. It just also makes it kind of forcing your hand a little bit more if Ice Palace is nothing to force you to dip Turtle Rock here.
Yeah, and you feel a little bit better about this decision in that moment in time.
Yeah. If this was pre-icebreaker days, I would say, yeah, go ahead, avoid Ice Palace, come up here. If you have to dip, throw a rock, so be it. But with icebreaker, I feel like it changes the meta enough that that Ice Palace play looks a little better. All right, so we'll save Osse has the same idea. For the exact same things I just said, I feel like, yeah, and he's gonna be doing the same thing here.
Yeah, and I think the fact this is a race too, and seeing where the Quake medallion was, it might be a factor too. Like going up to Death Mountain, in case they can push that advantage, thinking, well, maybe maybe my opponent didn't do the lava dive since it was out of logic, and maybe I can make progress here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they probably both think the other player did the lava dive. Them both being fully capable of doing it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, really what I expect more than anything is Gravity to be in here and then Bo to be somewhere in Meridia.
Yeah, that seems likely.
The problem is there's just not too many places for Gravity really to be hiding. Maybe like a Pyramid Fairy or something, or even like. Well, I did realize. Yeah, actually,
and that would open up a lot
flippers.
of checks between Swamp and Ice Palace, and I don't think we saw the Hobo yet. Is that correct?
I think you are right. Yeah, so it could very likely be flippers in here, this means this has been very skippable, unless Bo specifically in Swamp.
Yeah, which is a lot of checks and the green pendant turn in.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have, also not too hard for like flippers to be in here, and then maybe like Gravity be in Swamp, and then Bo to be in Ice Palace, and then if you just beeline Ice Palace, you got to skip a lot of the logic all of a sudden.
Right.
So again, with that, I know the old kind of rule of thumb was like, don't do. You really never fake flipper to Ice Palace, but I think Icebreaker is powerful enough that it changes that line of fly, especially when it's Swamp is a pendant.
Yeah, that's the big thing, I think.
Don't care.
Having a piece of that chain that you can just straight up skip, kind of like Lamp. Like Dark Rooms are only important if you have. Dark Rooms are skippable once you have a fire source. So if you can just skip that piece entirely and just go on with the seed as if you had the item you missed, then that's fine. So it could be the same thing with those flippers here, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. This is, we're especially one of the interesting things about this game in general is, we're one item from go mode, but that could be behind 3 logical progressions. Really the only way you can ever skip Gravity is if Meridia is completely empty, or specifically in this case only has flippers. These guys definitely can get through without that Gravity. Don't need the flippers. So we could end up finishing the seed pretty far out of logic, but it just always feels like when you can skip a bunch, the one item you need is it just so happens to be hard locked behind the stuff you could potentially skip anyways.
Right.
Makes you a little cranky. Like you're 1 for go, and then you just end up finding everything anyways. Well, that's lame. All right, so laser bridge is going to be our money location here. So let's see what we find here.
Yeah, there's got to be one key and the map as well. We haven't found that. That's the first item. So only two good things and space jump. That's okay. Pretty nice.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
the gravity suit.
kind of what I thought. All right.
As expected.
Now the comedy option is for the bow to be on Dragon, meaning it was just go straight up skippable.
And kind of surprised Solski's skipping out on Trinex after investing all that time. I mean, gravity opens up so many things, but even still, that's one of those things. If it's on Trinex and Osse checks it, if that's bow, he loses here.
Yeah, but it could be flippers, and it just not. Well, I mean, unless
yeah, or nothing. Swamp, but, more likely is nothing, but
yeah, I mean that gravity just unlocks so much at this point. But yeah, I mean that Trinex fight. I mean, we still also have. I mean, Bo. Chagrin to mention it. Bo could be on ped here.
Yeah,
as long as we stumble into those flippers. Yeah, so it is. It is too
really long Trinex fight either, right? Like it's only a couple rooms away. Plenty of health, so there's no risk of dying there.
Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing about the space jump being there is if you do backdoor Dragon, like it's really not that slow to do suitless with space jump because you can just kind of space jump over the Coliseum and get there. The Dragon fight itself is only going to be a little bit longer than it would in an ideal situation. So like with that space jump, I could have seen like maybe more Osse probably just being so comfortable with that fight. You know, maybe making that play, but
yeah,
I would specifically like think you really want space jump for it. It's not that long of a room with grapple. Obviously, he's very comfortable doing it that way, but can slow you down a little bit. But you know, probably doing that suitless, doing it with the suit, it's probably only taking like an extra minute, maybe. Really, not terrible. So if it is like bow on Dragon, that was potentially somewhere that Osse could have done.
Yeah, I just want to point out, you mentioned how good Solski's routing was earlier. This is maybe not the best. He went to Dark World, wandered down towards Dark Ice Palace, then mirrored and fluted away, setting up the water walk. I think he's got it primed to jump in and be in water walk state.
Yeah, I always check it.
Yeah, this is still a long way to go, and I don't know that this is even the fastest way to get to the back.
So here's the thing.
The water walk only saves him that tiny little bit of time.
Yeah, but here's the big thing: being one item from go. If your item is, ooh, that's a def from Osse. Well, I guess we're never gonna know what's on Trinex because he ain't doing that again.
Yeah, he didn't take the safety door. I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's a
big chest.
So it's a similar logic to doing Skull Woods back to front. In that if your bow is back here, right, you just kill Dragon and you leave and you're done. Right. If you front door, you definitely have to do everything. And then if bow's in the front and you back door, you have to do everything. Or if you front door, you still have to do everything, right? You still have to go all the way to Dragon. Granted, you skip most of those checks. But because you have to end at Dragon, do Dragon no matter what, it's just when you're go -1, it makes so much more sense to start back here.
Yeah, Solski forgetting he has space jump too, by the way, taking that room a little slower than necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just meant the overall way to get here kind of went a roundabout way. Setting up that water walk, I think, cost a lot more time than necessary.
How else is going to do it? Oh, he just come. Never mind. He can just just come from swamp and just go straight up and then fake flipper.
Yeah, there's different ways to set up the fake flipper. Even like the kern jump, if you can do it quickly, would be, I think, faster than that water walk setup would be.
We'll stick with my idea. I like that one. That's the way I do it. Alright, so Solski opening up a shine here. Even if he's going to do this grapple kill, you might as well open up a shine. Just reduces Dragon's health a little bit. Save you a couple seconds when you do get this grapple off. See if you can get the quick version of it. He does. Very nicely done.
We do see this divergence with Osse going to Ice Palace.
Yeah, interesting. He's not trying to immediately pay off that gravity suit.
And it might be like what you mentioned. It could be the gravity suit to flippers to.
Oh, there's the book. Yeah, that's interesting.
I like the book by Osse because he's not going to be sinking a lot of extra time, and with how many things are in Meridia, with how open it is, you could just be clearing and clearing.
Yeah,
for the one item, and this is just a couple
I don't
extra
know.
checks on the way.
Again, I kind of made an argument of doing this earlier. I feel like that was the time to do it. I don't know. And then once you get that gravity suit, it just feels so likely that it's going to be in Meridia. I mean, the downside, when you're one from go, Meridia is kind of a nightmare to full clear. It's, there's a lot of items here. It's not really dense though, right? It's so spread out. There's so many like resets, and you got a shack tool and plasma and all this stuff. This could be a big chunk of time if this comes up empty for Solski.
Right. Yeah, and there's Osse with 2 items already in Ice Palace, so just 1 left. Could potentially be done with his checks here in this next room.
Yeah, he can also make a little bit of a gamble here and just go straight to Cold Stare here. Yeah, okay, well, there's the item. Well, never mind. No gambling required. So that's pretty.
Anyway, to get his key.
Yeah, I guess he's probably not counting. Yeah. Yeah, pretty.
Well, he does need the key. He needs the key for the magic. That's actually a really heads-up play. That's smart, not a mistake.
Oh,
he got a magic, and he needs these pots in addition to the ones in the pre-cold stare room. So good heads-up play by Osse to not forget about that.
Yeah, actually, really good. Yeah, especially not having bombos.
Right.
But yeah, Ice Palace being empty, pretty bad news for Osse. Even if it isn't like Swamp and Flippers are in, Solski is just that far ahead of him in this chain. Osse's still having to do Misery Mire. I mean, at this point, he will have Ice Palace in his back pocket. I mean, really, the only big time save Osse could potentially make is does decide to end up making that front door play instead, and if it's like Main Street or something, just gets the bow and is done, right? And just at that point, I would just bail on Meridia, right, and then do it after you kill Ganon and just pop in and kill Dragon.
Absolutely. That was a fantastic Cold Stare fight, by the way. Really good job getting those poke dashes in early, getting splash damage on all 3 puffs with the fire rod. That was a beautiful fight.
Yeah, especially if Solski ends up investing some time here into stuff like Shackle and stuff, and Osse finds a way to avoid that. So, I mean, at this point, the dungeon count is evened up. Solski does have Dragon already dead, so he's got that advantage. I think it's still... Solski is still kind of unequivocally ahead right here. It looks like Osse... probably, I think doing what we were saying, right? He's going to make this dash up here and do the backdoor Meridia as well.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Or, yeah. Because this will get you to that warp slightly different way. Yeah, I think Solski, it's interesting doing these long checks like Shack Tool with that book. I wouldn't have been surprised if he pushed that. We'll see if Osse does something along those lines.
Bombos on Shack Tool. That's a pretty polite place to be, because the only way you'd ever see that is after already going into Turtle Rock, so...
Looks like Solski won't have bombos for Cold Stare either.
Yeah. Oh, Osse's in real bad trouble. Yeah.
Yep. Not really a lot you can do about that sometimes.
Yeah, well,
in the game.
I didn't see how Osse entered, but you always want to enter from the left, so you have momentum carrying you there while you still have those iframes. And then if it still looks really bad, you can bail out and kind of turn back around.
Maybe that's Solski's reason for not doing that instead of setting up the water walk.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I guess that's a good call. I hadn't considered
that. But honestly, Osse going in the front door now, which is honestly the best thing. He doesn't know it, but this is probably the best thing for him.
Unless that book is the progression, then it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I'm just thinking of ways that Aussie will be able to kind of make this one back up. Oh my god, it'd be hilarious if it was on Bat if they had when they had Book and or when they had Kane and Mushroom early.
yeah, that's true because they did have mirror when they got the canes. They could have mirrored and done that fake powder immediately. Could have done it between Skullwoods and Thieves Town as well to get the free magic refill back.
And honestly, the most likely thing they're going to find, because we know the seed oh, there's bow. Never mind. I was just about to say. I was about to say the most likely thing is actually flippers because we need to have the flippers, right? And then it's, and there's just that opens up even more locations to possibly put the bow. But yeah, with that, 207. Sometime at 207. I know it's already past that. Aussie is in go mode. Solski's going to be right here behind him. I mean, Solski definitely made the right play backdooring it. You can even see Aussie kind of confirming that was the right play on their spring ball and Mama Turtle. Yeah, Aussie agreeing it was the right play and then just kind of lucking into that death, forcing him to the front door. Yeah. He's now going to be able to beeline Dragon. Interesting is actually going through here. Where are you going?
He might just be doing quick checks on the way for another sword.
Yeah, maybe.
I was about to say, interesting. Kind of speed him up, right?
Yeah, interesting that he's going through there. I would just, like I said, I would just bail. Yeah. I mean, especially in Main Street, just bail and come back.
You probably assume you're going to get that sword in Ganon's Tower, and if not, Aussie is definitely familiar with the Master Sword Silverless fight.
Yeah, I mean, like. Yeah, I have to do this spot wound fight. This is just a mess you just don't want to have to deal with. I mean, Aussie's going to have a pretty good job at it. But that Solski having full clear of this, Aussie just going to be beelining right here to Dragon. That really tightens this match up. It's going to be real tough to tell who's actually ahead until we get Aussie cleaning off that Meyer check.
Yeah, because Aussie still has Dragon, and Meyer, Solski still has Ice Palace. And then both have Eastern and Pod, and then into Ganon's Tower.
Aussie not even going for the full half, he just opting for the... maybe he missed the jump and just realized he was a little slow.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what happened here. It has the space jump to be able to clean this up. Yeah. No problem.
Or rather, Solski doing Pod, then Eastern, then Ice Palace, it looks like.
Yeah.
This makes sense, actually, because he might just fall onto a sword here from Armos Knights or Helmless Sword King and have an easier Cold Stare fight.
Yeah, I think... Where was the big key in Meyer? Because Aussie's going to be able to avoid the full clear of Meyer. Although Solski's going to be able to avoid the full clear of Ice, so they kind of both have a go mode up on each other.
I think it was the lobby chest in Meyer.
The lobby chest. You mean the one on the grate on the top?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not terrible. He'll be able to avoid the cutscene and everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because Solski skipped the cutscene and the big chest for sure.
Yeah, definitely have a faster Vidi fight. Just gonna be able to take that Master Sword. You can get like a one cycle without too much effort. See if Aussie decides to invest in these two door transitions. I don't know if we've had one of these in the tournament before. This might come down the GT routing.
Yeah, this is really interesting. And Solski does need that key on the right side that Aussie already picked up by doing that potion camera unlock. Of course, Solski has a marginally, like, frames or a second or two faster time with it, doesn't use the potion. But that is a key that Aussie's not going to have to pick up, so his return to Pod's going to be a tiny bit faster.
Yeah, Aussie's also already has got the big key for Eastern. Just going to be a handful of seconds for Solski to really go get it. But yeah, I mean,
never went to Eastern, did he?
We're definitely in the position where seconds matter right now.
Where was the Eastern big key? That's potentially.
I don't know.
Was that vanilla? I think that was vanilla actually, which is a
was yeah. Actually,
that's more important probably than the Go mode Ice Palace. Because Go Mode Ice Palace saves less time.
Yeah,
than,
I mean, you never think that
Go Mode Eastern.
Eastern Go mode. I mean, it's not really a Go mode for Osse. He already invested the time.
Right.
It's technically the Go mode for Solski, but it's just that time Osse has in his back pocket here. Well, Solski's in this fight. Osse's going to be joining him shortly. I'm going to get up real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Solski not quite able to land those hammer hits. Those are really tough to do. He does get a couple here. Yeah, once he gets the first one, gets a good rhythm in. It's double the damage of Master Sword spin, or sorry, double the damage of Master Sword slashes. It's equivalent to spins. So that's a nice way to make that fight a little bit quicker. See him mirror into Eastern Palace here. While Osse heads to the back of the dungeon. It's looking like it still looks like it's too early to tell who's ahead. I think this Eastern Big Key is potentially a really big factor here. And we'll see how Osse decides to do the Misery Mire checks as well. If it is on the lobby, like I was thinking about, it's going to cause him to open 4 chests to get that one with the most common chest route in that dungeon. Let's see if Osse has the same success with these hammer hits.
Yeah, at this point, Osse's probably just happy he's got that Master Sword.
Yeah, and it's nice positioning too from Helmasaur there to walk up towards him and make it so the recoil wasn't quite as bad, so you could just repeatedly hit those slashes.
Yeah, you can see here Solski is going around for that vanilla big key. Osse's going to be beeline. So I mean, really, this isn't changing the overall status of the race, but the apparent gap is going to close up here a good bit, and then they're going to split up to finish the dungeon that the other has. And then once we're really going to have a really good handle on exactly where this race is once they flip to 1. I want to say Solski still has a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think either way, this is within a minute.
I don't know. I'll take your word for that. I know you know the lengths of the dungeons more so than me. Obviously, it's different than any particular speedrun.
Yeah, I'm trying to like back out exactly.
No,
I mean that ice
the same way that you get with the crystals.
Yeah, I mean ice is going to be just about that 3 minute, a little bit longer. Obviously, you can't do like the bomb clip or anything to get down there like you would in AD.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I always put in the crystal cutscenes.
No crystal for either dungeon.
So yeah, it'll probably be right around 3 flat. Mire is going to be probably like a Vidi death is like a 3 minute time loss, so it's going to be right around that 3 minute mark as well. I think so. It really close.
Yeah. Once Osse gets the big key, I think that's the difference. Is that Osse still has to find that Mire big key, which is just going to reverse the time that it looked like Solski lost looking for the big key in Eastern.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be. He's going to go up, right, left. Probably check the. I mean, most people, especially if you're in Go mode, right, you're probably going to check the lobby before you go to cutscene.
Well, you do.
So I think he's going to get the
compass room
bridge
first, and you find out that that's not a small key because otherwise that confirms the big key is vanilla.
Yeah, but then that's more backtrack. A lot of people just back right back out of the lobby and grab it real quick. And then if it is, you can just skip all the
After
other
the
stuff.
compass chest and before the cutscene. Yeah, I would agree with that. Is that what you're
No, I'm
saying?
saying you just flip the switch, go, because you're never going to be closer to it at that point, right? And then
Okay.
come back to the. I mean, I guess it's backtracking either way, but
I suppose.
yeah. So Solski briefly with this one crystal lead, which is gone right now. All right, so Solski going to be entering his final dungeon. Let's see, he's like let's say like 1:17:30 flat. Let's see when Osse enters his dungeon. This is going to be a quite one-to-one comparison, obviously. But I think Solski's dungeon is going to be a little faster than Osse's here. Yeah, we'll never know, but Trinex could have easily had a had a sword, which would have been pretty game-changing, honestly.
A sword of those silver arrows, because if we don't find that tempered sword, the silvers do make a pretty big difference. With tempered, not so much. It saves a little bit of time, but with master sword, that's a very significant amount of time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Solski is also going to be. He's not going to be completely just on that master sword. Probably going to be popping open these chests. We won't see iced tea, but I think we'll see every other chest.
Yeah, he might skip the freezer room one as well, but I assume he'd do this one and the U-shaped room as well to get. I think that would be a shield in the other one. Maybe not.
Yeah,
there were
shield.
2 shields in this dungeon, but I can't remember which one was. One was freezer room. One was.
Oh god, I so hope. Please make Solski get mirror shield. I'll be so happy. Oh, Solski deciding not to check that one chest. That's interesting. Not the longest check.
It's longer than this one. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to see where people put the line of what they're willing to check for a sword, or in this case, silvers. Yeah. Because right now we're master sword silverless.
Yep, and no freezer room either.
Yeah, I know Osse some time into the low percent fights. I don't know how much time he actually put into Ganon. Osse is doing what you suggest though, checking this compass chest first.
Yeah. Yeah, just because if that's a small key, it guarantees you that the big key's vanilla.
Yeah, I guess it's
knowing that early is a good piece of knowledge.
I guess not a pure 2 for check, but it is a 1 for 2. So, but yeah, we can see now Solski pretty clearly in the lead. It's actually going to be a little bit bigger of a advantage for Solski than I thought it was. So this is, yeah. I mean, Osse's really gonna. I think if maybe if we get some GT divergence, and Osse ends up taking the better route, and then just maybe slightly superior execution, maybe can close this gap. But this is pretty comfortable for Solski at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I think it's not a stretch to say that Osse does have an execution advantage at both games, just with general movement, and it's just how much is it an advantage is hard to say.
Yeah, I mean,
especially in Link to the Past, where I think they're.
I think
much
maybe best case scenario, a minute. Maybe like, I mean, turning is surprisingly difficult. The difference between even a very good player and a top level player's Turian it can be 20 to 30 seconds. And maybe another certainly they're definitely gonna be closer in like a GT. But even just like a miss, just a missed baby skip, that's 20 seconds there.
Yeah, and of course, as I had said, that Osse had a little bit of trouble with the spooky action glitch there, got hit with the bunny beam and lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, having a little trouble with this Vidi fight as well. I'm gonna clean it up with the bow here. Yeah, so Solski pretty much an entire Death Mountain climb ahead. This climb, yeah, it's a good 90 seconds. This climb going all the way around to this point. So we'll get an official count right when Solski kind of transitions into GT here. What his time is and where Aussie's going to come in at. But I think Aussie really's got to pick the correct route here to have a shot at this thing.
Yeah, I'd agree.
All right, 22:31 is Solski's entry time. I mean, not for nothing, they're both going to have very good times in this. Probably coming right in like mid to high 30s, I think. No, they'll beat 240. 18 minutes from now? Yeah, they should beat that.
I guess it depends on.
It depends on
by a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
by
see
a lot.
when they get that. Because if it's a tile room big key, it might be closer to 240.
Yeah, tile room would definitely push it to that having a full clear. But I'm kind of just going like maybe like a full left. You know, to get that. Should be like about a 7-minute GT fully. I guess a little longer because you are checking everything. Well, the gain and fight actually, this is gonna be a lengthy gain and fight if we don't stumble into anything. That's actually that Master Sword can add. It's gonna add at least 2 minutes to that fight.
Yeah, and the lower your equipment is, in particular, like in that Ganon fight, the more time you gain having a little bit more comfort with that. So if Solski struggles a little bit, he's going to lose a lot more time than the same difficulties with a tempered fight. Of course, I'm not assuming he's going to have difficulty. We'll see what happens.
Have to use the hammer. Jeez, we're just running into him.
Shield. He's using his mirror shield.
Yeah. Just run into him. You got a billion hearts.
But he wants sword beams, probably.
Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be just right north of that 1.5. We said 22:31 for Solski.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna be at 24, probably 24:17. So math 29.
145.
Yeah, 145. Aussie heading to this right side right away though. We'll see if that's gonna be the correct decision or not. I don't know actually. Is there a key over here?
Oh,
there's not a key, so he does have to do both. Solski actually picking the right route there. So that's pretty. Because I don't think Aussie's gonna go right, left, back, right. I think he's gonna do this full on left. So that's, yeah, I think that's pretty much. Besides any sort of devastating mistakes from Solski, that's pretty close to a GG here.
Yeah, I don't know if Solski has anything in his bottles. More importantly, probably for the GT climb.
He's got powder and he's got Josh fairies. So
yeah, we'll see if he gets aggressive though and skips those fairies. If he does, if he feels behind, if it feels like there's no way Aussie's not ahead of me here with the full clear Meridia, especially after finding that gravity.
Yeah, but like
might be aggressive here.
The thing is, like, Aussie was only even within shouting distance because he died trying to do the thing that Solski did. I think the backdoor was clearly the correct idea there, and both of them agreed with me. It's just that Aussie forced out of it and just didn't really want to invest time into trying it again. And really just completely got lucky that bow was up front. Unfortunately, his luck running out here in Ganis Tower. That key layout is for the route Solski takes. That is the dream layout for that route. Hard locked right side, with the big key on the right side. And so, definitely stumbling into some good luck. I mean, he still had the lead there. He still had a comfortable lead. Even if Aussie was able to make up some time here. But, yeah, luck staying on Solski's side here, maintaining this advantage.
Yeah, and possibly another negative of this full clear is that Aussie's just not finding anything even helpful. You know, even if he got a sword over here, that'd be enough to cut the gap a little bit, so that this wouldn't all be time lost.
Yeah, I mean, no plasma
So far,
can't be over here.
Yeah, so far he's got nothing. Could get wave, but I don't think charge, wave, ice, phaser really helps when you have this many supers.
I mean, this match sword Ganon fight isn't nothing to laugh at. We do have half magic. We do have cape. I don't think Solski has a bot, so you can't really abuse that cape all that much. Definitely want to save as much magic as possible for that phase 2. But you know, just could potentially struggle in that Ganon fight a little bit. Well, never mind.
No more struggles. That's a temper sword.
Yeah, struggles are gone.
Might check these last couple chests just in case they're silvers.
That tempered sword I really think is pretty much the final nail in Osse's coffin. Just barring a catastrophic mistake on like a mother brain, for example, which can happen.
Yeah, like a soft lock.
We do have charge beam,
but he wouldn't stand up without Spazer or plasma, so never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I could see doing it with Spazer without Spazer, and I could see doing it without plasma. Without Spazer is a bit much, really. You're gonna save what, one hyper beam shot, maybe?
Something like that. I'm sure somebody knows the damage output of charge ice by itself. That's not very much.
I mean, you need, what is it, like 200 on Mother Brain?
Yeah.
So it's 90, I think?
90 damage.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, Shadow saying 90 in chat.
So it could save maybe two hyper beam shots to do a good one. Totally seems worth it to risk.
Yeah, I mean, it'll save a tenth of full beam, right? Like,
yeah.
Remind me to have a chat with Solski about his Agatu.
Do you want to have a chat with me about mine too? Mine's also bad.
No, mine's also terrible. I'm just saying that because Solski said that to me once. So now every time his goes slightly wrong, I gotta make the same comment.
Yeah, in his defense, he did get a couple of blue balls on the second and third.
Yeah, there was,
which does make it a lot tougher. You are guaranteed to not get 3 hits on those.
I think he also had the out of sync. I saw an energy ball going through a shadow at one point, which is not what you want.
Yeah, once they're out of sync, it's really difficult to do well and get more than 1 hit per cycle sometimes. Kind of like that blind script, the same thing. Whereas as long as the fight goes well, it stays easier to do well.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of thinking back at this match overall. You know, like Solski really had his route was really efficient here. I'm trying to think of like, I mean, you can't even necessarily call them mistakes in the moment, but just like, even if you could kind of plan out your route, maybe not to like the spoil log level, like what would he really change? Maybe doing that Norfair a bit earlier. But you know, is he really gonna avoid Brinstar at any point, especially with having a required item in Turtle Rock, and that gravity suit definitely hard required because you are not getting Main Street without gravity.
Right.
So I mean, it'd be hard to map out a better route than what Solski took here. And despite that, Osse is still hot on his heels, despite really missing that hammer early on, losing some of the early advantage with those boots. But yeah, just really good match all through. The point where it's like when you're at the end, you don't actually know who's ahead. You know it's been a good match.
Yeah, Solski missing the torch glitch though is gonna have a little bit more time on this Ganon fight. He's gonna have to pretty much settle for doubles instead of triples here. Does have half magic, so he's not really at risk of running out. It's just gonna slow things down a tiny bit here. And we saw the arrows were in the light world. What light world locations do we have left? Hobo? Magic Bat?
I think it might be Magic Bat.
Tablets were still available?
Yeah, tablets.
Not a lot. I guess Sahasrara and Master Sword pedestal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could have checked Ether on the way up if we're looking for a sword of those silvers. But yeah, I mean, finding that temper for Solski and Osse, I assume is probably going to stumble into it here.
Yeah, there it is. Alright, with that, Solski finishes off his Ganon fight. Get your single G's in chat for him.
And meanwhile, on this Moldon fight, so yeah, gonna be, you know, that lead, like I said, only got opened up with that routing in GT. You know, barring really a mother brain death at this point, Solski should be able to take this one overall.
Yep. Does remember to refill at the ship, which you don't always have to do in a randomizer, but going into Mother Brain with 8 super missiles, or into Turian with that many, would be pretty problematic.
Yeah, that would be another thing that could swing the match, just forgetting to do that. I have definitely been guilty of that. Another one of those speedrunning, because it's like, I don't need to go to the ship. And then you get down to Mother Brain, it's like, I have 4 missiles.
Yep, you just
Like,
reset.
That's not going to cut
it.
it.
You save automatically, right? So,
yeah, I mean, you still reset. You still waste all the time traipsing down there.
Yep, I have done that without Charge Beam before and been very sad. And while Osse with a really good Aga 2 fight, still those tough patterns. I believe is that standardized between the games?
No, they are not standardized in SMZ3.
Or in standalone like the past Rando.
Yeah, it's one of the things. We so much stuff got jam packed in here. Some sacrifices had to be made, so you can get screwed over in this by blue balls or warps.
Right. Yeah, looked like Osse had some similar patterns. Also had at least a couple blue balls in that Aga 2. Cleaned it up a little bit faster still, but you know, cut the gap just a tiny bit. Alright, we'll see if Solski gets the baby skip here. Taking off his suits suggests that he's not going to be attempting it. Just going to damage down. Or maybe damage down just in case he misses it. We'll see. No wave beam makes it a lot tougher to get the debris cleared out.
Alright, so Solski gonna be moving into his final stage of terrain here. It looks like he did turn off that screw attack at some point just to be able to do the ice Zeb skip, not to mess around with speed Zeb skip.
Yeah, it was nice efficiency heads up play to when he turned off his suits to damage down, turned off the screw attack at the same time. And no wave beam, so he does have to do this setup a little bit differently. Gets underneath to freeze the Rinka there. Nice job getting through. Osse also remembers to refill all of his resources. Unless Solski somehow misses 69 or more than 69 missiles, then he's got this in the bag. Or the equivalent of that in super missiles, I suppose. Yeah, for each super missile he misses, he's going to have to do 3 missile shots to make up the difference.
Yeah, it's gonna be at the end. Finish this off. Or well, I guess he had 60 there. Yeah, just bringing down. No point in doing the stand-up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Osse moving through his metro rooms. Yeah, you can see this how close this is. Osse already in his metro rooms as Solski is entering his Mother Brain 3 phase here.
Yeah, making up a lot of time. Just slightly cleaner movement on these metro rooms. Osse's doing a really good job here.
Yeah, these rooms are incredibly difficult to do well. You can get by and only lose like a second or two in each room without too much doing. But really to get the top times in there, it's just like another level. But yeah, Solski played a really good game. Like I said, his route was, you know, I don't know if there was much he would really change even in hindsight. Maybe going into Norfair a little sooner. Although, you know, he did end up coming back there with speed. Obviously, he didn't know that at the time, but it worked out okay for him. Osse missing his baby skip there. But yeah, I mean, you can see it, like, you know, Osse still hot on his heels despite the stuff that happened to him. Solski, you know, not only needed that good route, but needed to play really well as well to take this one, and is looks like almost definitely going to take this one out, barring the what would be probably the worst disaster I've ever seen. But I really don't think we're going to have that.
Yeah, this is not the crowd control setup that we've seen where things regularly go wrong in the end of the race.
I mean, we can turn crowd control on right now if you want. 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, both our racers showing off exactly how they came to get to this point of the tournament. Great routing, great execution. Pretty much
I mean,
time.
Especially you know, with Azure winning yesterday, you know, we had the last 3, Azure, Osse, and Solski. I mean, it's just going to come down to, you know, just where everything is and just how it plays out. All of them easily capable of taking it. All very, very good players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, all with their own strengths and weaknesses, and whichever one is the problem for that seed, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Osse had
routing was a little bit better, and Osse's execution was probably a little bit better, but the routing made such a bigger difference that's what's put Solski in this position.
Yeah, I mean, Osse really had to just go through such a murderer's row. He was #1 seed, but he had a lot of tough competition to get through to get to this point. He had to play, you know, a real cutie, just one of the best SM players around. You know, easily could. Cutie could have easily taken that seed off of them. Then he had to face Alucard again, really good player. Then he has to play Solski. Like, what a horrible reward Osse was given for being #1 seed. Just, you know, it really, you know, when you're even if you think like Osse's 80% or 70% likely to win any of those seeds, you know, having to win 4 of those, not coin flips, 4 of those like dice rolls in a row, just really difficult.
Yeah,
and
apparently,
you know,
apparently Maniacal's just a pushover then, I guess, that Solski had to beat to get here.
I was specifically talking about Osse right there. Jeez, not saying that Solski didn't have to go through stuff. But yes, Maniacal is a pushover. We all know this. All right, and with that, Solski is officially going to take this. Let's see, his official SRL time was a
Maniacal
24.
was indeed a pushover. He was matchless this tournament.
I'm not even going to say your time now. I don't care. GG.
Oh my!
The
the nerves are so real at that Aga
yeah.
I was like, did I just lose my chance on like that? Oh my god, dude! Like, what was that? A 6 or 7 cycle Aga? It was like the worst I've ever had.
Dude, I can only count to 4, so I have no idea.
There were 3 empty cycles, I believe.
Yeah,
3
it was
zeros. So
like the first one set
great.
that tone, right? Because like
Yeah.
it just threw the timing off, and I got blue ball after blue ball, and no like contacts in time on energy balls. It was so bad, man. And then the missed torch glitch.
Did you miss torch glitch?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I was like not even close. Like I was like 5 frames up on the torch trying to lamp it. I was like, what is going on, dude? I don't know why. It's just like, oh.
Can we give the win to Maniacal? Is that
No,
okay?
we can't. That's not allowed, dude.
Hey, Lord. All right. Well, grats, I guess. All right. So I just want to. How long am I going to have to hear about this for? It's. I just want to like a month, like 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, well, I just prepared one statement, okay, and then I'll put Heal Solski away, is 37 people thought I wasn't going to make it to the finals, so thanks for the motivation, guys, really appreciate it.
Just the billboard material. But yeah, I mean...
That's 37 out of 38, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, this seed definitely turned early. You getting that... your ye old Sasha play, you going into early, getting that grapple, getting that X-ray. We were all sitting here knowing Osse can do the damage boost, so we were kind of, his energy was a little low. I know if he's in that kind of situation, he may or may not go. So we were just waiting to see if he was gonna go for or not, and he went right past it.
Yeah.
At one point, he even got a spike suit leaving lower Norfair, and we thought he was gonna carry that up into X-ray.
That's even better because it was like my signature early check.
Yeah, it was.
And then like I was like, you know what? Let's check it early. Let's do red tower down. I think I was light on. Was I light on? I can't remember if I was light on PBs, but I was like, you know what? Let's do red tower down. Let's do creep first. Let's do high jump. That's been working for me lately. Trying to be light on SM items and trying to find stuff. And then sure enough, like that hammer popped out of nowhere, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, you could, again, like, that's normally when I'm playing Osse and there's something there, especially if I get something late, I'm like, well, he had that hour ago, so it's like, you couldn't even feel that great about finding
I almost died, too. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was like the most clutch.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying, like, even with the grapple, it is not a safe, like, you only have, like, one or two E-tanks going in there.
I couldn't believe I missed the Spider-Man, and then, like, I just jumped with all my might. And then I'm pretty sure I just got grapple contact on that. Like, it was like almost off screen. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Osse also now finishing up with a 245. GG's to him as well.
Yeah. How'd you guys like the race? How was it? It looked
really
tight.
It was incredible.
Really
I mean,
close.
like, you were putting up a, you got a nice little lead early on. You had an advantage early, and then like when we got to go, we didn't know who was ahead because you had done Mire and Osse had already done Ice.
Okay.
And
so
you
what?
You each had different things to find in other dungeons too, because Osse already had the Eastern Big Key and it was the worst possible place, and
Same,
so
yeah.
you already had the Mire Big Key, obviously, so we had to like clear around for that one. So it's like hard to do the math to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, it was. The other thing is Osse tried to go full right and couldn't. You were a minute and a half ahead heading into GT, minute and 45, something like that. So it really got opened up by that GT routing. But we're also joined by Osse. GG's to you.
Hey.
GG, dude.
Yeah, so we were just kind of wrapping up the summary of the seed. Obviously, you missing that hammer early put you in a hole. But like you guys, so you both did the lava dive. Osse, you couldn't do Mire. Solski was able to do it when he came to it. You guys entered pod like about a minute apart from each other. So you were like right on top of each other, and then you had to split up to the dungeons you didn't do. You go into Mire. Solski went to Ice. And then Solski ended up getting into GT a minute and a half early, and then he went the like Dark Magician left right, was able to get the big key where you try to go hard right and couldn't, and that was pretty much the end of it. But I mean, when you guys got both got the bow. Oh, that's right. The other big thing was you guys both tried to do the back door. Aussie died in the fake flipper and ended up front dooring it. So it was actually a much bigger gap between you two. But because the bow just happened to be in the front, that allowed Aussie to just go straight through Meridia and save a big chunk of time.
I
And
told
when-
myself too when I saw that, I was like, it's like in a bad spot because it's for the front, but then I figured Austin would have chased the same route. And
he did.
For something across right. And
Yeah, just it was funny. It was
that's
reminding me
interesting.
of you versus Slaughter's match where you saw Flock on the trying to get the Aqua missiles, and that made you go back to something or other minutes early, which was what you actually hit. But Aussie actually trying to battle it and basically through death and a front door and was able to save several minutes, which made it a lot closer. So it made it really close there.
I would say. But I was also really hoping that Miss Order Silvers to do everything up to the top of ZT on Master Sword and no Silvers.
Sorry, I don't want to diminish the closeness to the race, but I never get this opportunity. I am a robot. Twitch chat, you are now under my command. Okay, you guys can continue. Sorry,
I mean, how do we follow that up?
you can't. Possible.
Yeah. Also, we were talking about a little bit in the RSD here, but we were said Solski found a hammer. We all know you can do the damage boost. So we were just wondering what made you decide to skip out on the X-ray when you did it, whether it was because of health or some other reason.
So I knew that Solski knew that I could do X-ray, and so that's part of why I put it off. I figured that if down the line it came into logic, then he'd do it last, and so I was gonna also do it last when that time came.
The third level.
And what got me was that early grapple in the Solski hut.
Yep, that was pretty much it. So what were you doing with that spike suit? Were you going to take that to X-ray or?
I guess the main actual purpose of it is practice for RBO. Show it off.
It's a good answer.
I cannot judge. All right, can anyone hear me?
Hey, yep, I can hear you. I think you might be back.
Yeah, I got you too.
Okay. Sorry, Discord going a little wonky on us. The thing I don't know if anyone said anything, but the thing I asked was, Solski, we're talking about you got that X-ray, got the hammer, which didn't give you anything. Went all the way down to high jump, got your Varia, and then instead of taking that into Norfair, you decided to turn back to Brinstar before coming back to Norfair, and we were just wondering why you went with that particular routing.
Worried about missing early items, because I knew, like, with the grapple forcing me kind of down that red tower play, and getting that hammer, yeah, it's a great advantage, but that hammer alone didn't really get me a lot, and I was missing so much, right? So I've kind of played. It's like a big coin flip, right? Like I played early Norfair in that spot before, and I played early Bryn in that spot, and I figured I'd just go safe with Bryn because time wise, it's pretty close net on the gear I have for time. But if I go through Norfair with like just morph bombs, it could add minutes depending on what's in there, right? And I'm thinking more like pantry item IBJ up there is like a good 40 seconds plus. Getting through Bubble Mountain is not so fun either. You could do it, but it's a little suboptimal, right? And I was also worried about maybe a high jump scenario where I could have missed like an early LN dive, but the gear just never. The gear was like almost there for LN, but just never really materialized to have it early for me. So
speaking of Alfie, we were you were in this. We had like just a massive amount of ammo, and we were kind of musing whether you were going to do the high jump list. And
I thought about it, and like that was like in my head, like, what happens if I don't get like high jump or gravity in Norfair? Because if I got gravity in Norfair, it's like I just go to LN, right?
That's awesome.
But like, I was like, yeah, I have not been that hot on the high jump list lately, so
yeah,
I was like, nah.
Well, what the question was directed to Osse, who I said had a lot of ammo.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. My apologies.
Yeah, because he was in there first, and because he did Brinstar down to the Norfair area, so he did get to that area first. Didn't have, so we were musing maybe he would try high jump list, and it came out, went to Cathedral, got the high jump, and then he turned right back around. I was just wondering if the high jump was what made you do it, or you were thinking about it beforehand, or like why go with that particular routing right there?
Yeah, it was the high jump. I didn't want to do high jump lists on 3 or 4 E-tanks, and you like can't miss.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you do have the rando health reduction, so Solski missed it twice, I think, getting up there, and you only lost 2 E-tanks, and I'm just sitting there like slightly mad with how much less health you take in rando.
Yeah, so then I did all of Lore Norfair, and all I got was the shovel. So that felt like a complete waste of time.
Yeah, such a mean shovel spot too, which actually ended up being required. We were musing, especially when Solski came there so late. That being so far out of the way, like maybe there's part of your brain that makes you think you want to, like, what's the likelihood? I mean, it had to have been shovel that led to something. In this case, it led to quake, which also led to gravity, which was basically hard required. Besides shine suit, spike suit shenanigans to get. That bow.
Yep, that's why I went right into Double Rock, because Lower Norfair had the quake, and I needed an out.
Yeah. Did either of you consider? Because I was talking about, with the icebreaker, the Ice Palace play becomes a lot faster. Did either of you consider doing Ice Palace before going up to Turtle Rock? Because up Death Mountain.
Not a chance. Not with breaking ahead, getting the quake out of that shovel after getting Titans from pod. I was just like, that's too convenient. Like, if I'm wrong about that, it really, really sucks. But I had Darkwold Death Mountain as well to kind of leverage, and was my first crack up there. So it's just value village, right? Like there's so much up there for like a cheap time cost. So
yeah, the argument I was making, which may or may not be right, but with Icebreaker, it's not. It becomes a pretty efficient dungeon. I mean, obviously, Gummoning is always going to be faster. But once you make that Death Mountain play, you really are priced into Turtle Rock. So it gets you a crystal. It puts you, it does makes the being priced in probably feel a little bit better that you didn't miss something and you are forced into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I was really worried at that point that Bo was going to be in not Eastern, sorry, Ice Palace. Because like that was like it was the A or B right at that point. I guess I could have dipped Eastern, but at that point I was just like, all right, I gotta start elevating some risk here because I got a little late to that Titans, and I was just like, I wasn't sure where I was gonna stand with that one, right? So,
and the other interesting thing is you dipped out, turned down killing Trinex.
Yep.
Osse actually tried to kill Trinex and unfortunately died to Trinex, so we have no idea what was on there. Could have been a sword.
I was like, hey, I just saved like a minute. I guess not.
Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes here and there.
Yeah, my early SM was like so shaky too. I was like, oh my god. Even my mid and late game, I did not feel comfy in SM at all today. I don't know why.
I think I played well early on, but then like after Bryn Loop especially, I just started to hate the seed. and then it just played like worse and worse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
you definitely each had like areas where it kind of seemed like you were struggling with things like Solski. Your Brinstar was kind of shaky, especially like the trouble getting the spore spawn missiles, then
Yeah.
the high jump, or sorry, the high jump, the wave gate, and then Osse, conversely, like I know you had a little more trouble than you typically have with like Skull Woods, and a little trouble in Misery Mire as well later on.
In Skull Woods, the mummy got stuck on the wrong side of the statue. You seen
yeah,
that before?
you and you should
Yeah,
you
guys
and Boy
both had
need to
trouble with
have
that
like
room.
a
Yeah, I did. Mummy, same thing. He got stuck on the wrong side as well, so I had to like try and juke him out, and he just would not move. It's pretty funny.
Skull Woods at Skull. I don't know. Someone put something in Skullwood's coffee or something, because I've seen it being a jerk to a lot of people the last couple of days. In some of the other Link to the Past stuff, and it was mean to me in the multiple I did last night too. It's just I don't know. Skullwoods is like turbo mad for some reason. But yeah, I mean, it's, in one of these, we always say these matches are really decided by minutes, not seconds. For a match to be, when Osse actually was the first one to go, would be, basically off the death of that, or the back of that death. But when one of the runners gets in go mode, and we're like, we don't actually know who's ahead here. We think it's Solski, but we're not 100%. We're trying to do some math. It's a really close race. It was a really good one. If the routing of GT broke down the other way, where Osse was able to save some time over Solski, this would have been a very, very, very close finish. But Solski, that's the dream configuration for your route. No key on the right side, and then big keys on the right side. And Osse ended up taking that route. So that's really how that route really wants to get paid off. So that opened it up a little bit.
Part of what decided my route too is that I wanted to go left to get extra chest checks, looking for a sword.
Yeah, we were surprised. Like, we were surprised you did like Aqueduct even. We were honestly, we were thinking finding that bow. Just go ahead and just dip out of Meridia and look to do Dragon after the Ganon kill. Although I guess you still don't have flippers, you'd have to risk the fake flipper again, wouldn't you? Yeah, we never found flippers, did we? Where the hell are flippers?
I definitely did not find flippers.
Yeah, we didn't find flippers.
I
don't
thought,
know where they
like,
could possibly be.
It either had to be the other checks. No, it couldn't have been even ice. I hypothesized it was either Ether or Bombos at that point.
Yeah, we
What
had
if
some
it-
overworld like
Trinex?
Smith Chain,
It
Trinex.
could have been Trinex.
Yeah, it could have. That'd have been hilarious. Well, like,
Could
the
you
funny thing,
imagine,
I
dude?
was.
I get I said that too. I'm like, if I get flippers here, I'm just like so priced into Swamp. And
Yeah, well, that's what we were. I was actually saying that when you were declaring Meridia, it was like, well, bow only locks a handful of things, right? It's more likely to be flippers, which unlocks even more, and then flippers being like Swamp. And like, as I'm saying that, there's the bow in Main Street. I'm like, well, never mind, we're in go mode.
yeah, it was it was definitely a Schrodinger's cat there. Like, I think that play, it was just like, I had to keep the pressure on. I had to keep trying to make those kind of microaggressions at that point with gambles, right?
Microaggressions.
I don't know, dude. Like, what words do you want me to use here? Duck's like,
Oh god.
can I ban Duck from like commentary on my races going forward, or what?
No.
Okay.
You cannot. You can blame. Tracy asked me to come commentate this one, so you can blame her.
I can't blame Tracy.
I know.
I
She's.
can blame you though.
That's fine. That's fair.
Ace, thanks for commentating the match. It was great.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
gonna
It
love
was
it.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, really, really great match. So with this, I believe Osse, that means you're going to be in the third place match against Pizza. Do you have any thoughts on that matchup, the consolation prize, if it were?
I don't know. Not really.
Yeah,
It's over for me.
yeah. And then so Solski, you will be playing Asder, another really tough opponent. Any thoughts about that matchup? Anything you might be looking to change?
I don't know why you guys keep asking me this, because I keep saying the same answer every time.
I don't remember. I don't
Free win.
store
All right.
stuff in my brain that you
It
say.
is going to be a Battle of Ontario though, so that's kind of neat.
Oh yeah.
So we'll be rocking that all Canadian matchup. Hell yeah.
Wouldn't it have been?
Yeah, it would have been.
Would have been all Canadian no matter what.
It's like super. I don't know, because it's closer. I don't know, but yeah.
All right.
Anywho, thanks a lot for the comms guy, and again, special shout out to Osse, GG dude. I've been looking forward to this match. I know I said in my call I was really looking forward to it, which I was, but I was really super looking forward to our match. We had to both work pretty hard where we got, and it was great. And I mean, what I said in the chat before we started is my only regret was this was a best of one, right? Because I would have loved to have done a long matchup with you. So, GG dude.
Yeah, GG. It was a good matchup. At least on my side, I didn't like the seed very much, so didn't have a whole lot of fun this time. But congrats going forward.
Yeah, really exciting match. I think everything pretty much got said. So yeah, we pretty much have just those two matches left: Osse versus Pizza, and then Solski versus Asder. That will actually be a best of three. Those will get on the schedule shortly once all the players talk to each other. With that, I'm pretty much out of things to say. Ace, you want to close us out here?
Yeah, sure. Just want to finish off by saying it was a lot of fun to work with you, Duck, on commentary here. It was a lot of fun watching the race. Solski and Osse, you guys did a fantastic job up to this point in the tourney and in the race here. Thanks everybody for watching, and thanks for the help on tracking. Also, Ricky of Kokiri, appreciate that, helping keep everybody straight, understanding what's available. And we'll look forward to the next races. Everybody, have a great day.
Bye.